closer to the hollow, the devil may care. If I showed you around my heart, would you mind if I shared to show you what's wrong with me? I will not change it. I will wait patiently while you get painted out. Let me into your untainted tribe, to be the one who gets to live a lie. Oh, let me lie with you. I'll be a perfect stranger. I wanna be that.
Good for me to know.
It's September 14th. This is the EST Hangout. That was Whale and the Wolf that was playing right there as their new album released last night, 10 o'clock. Matawanek, Tom Gazzola with you here on the Hangout. Joaquin Gage's mask is here right now as we wait for Gager to come in. And Lucas Holt.
Boys?
Best known as the
My
general
friend.
manager and owner of the San Antonio Texans in the Senior Fantasy League. But also bassist of Whale and the Wolf, and then you're just Lieutenant Eric's brother as well. So
Congratulations,
Thank you,
sir.
boy.
congratulations
Big
on
day.
the
Thank you,
album.
thank you for having me.
How
This is
are you
great.
doing today?
I'm doing good.
you-
Actually really nervous about this.
Are you?
No, you
Why?
should not be.
I don't know.
Why are you nervous?
I don't know.
You're good behind the microphone.
You're a man on the stage.
Stage is one thing, but this is this is a little different.
You got the Husky shoes on.
Got the Huskies on. Yeah, 2-0. Going against Michigan State this weekend.
Got the
that
A's
should be an
hat
easy win.
representing Dave Jameson.
Yep. Dave-o.
Shout out to
I'm
Dave.
still like I wouldn't picture you being nervous though.
Not
Like if I had
It's-
guessed
it's-
people, like I would have never said that Lucas is gonna come in being nervous.
It's a different thing, this, than like performing live.
Not
Obviously,
even
right?
that, but you've been on radio.
Yeah.
Like you
Right.
used to do Will It
I
Hurt
also-
on the
I also-
Bear,
yeah.
where you had a lot of terrible things happen.
I'm just
to you.
kind of like in between. You guys are both just like
Oh.
right at me and just pumping
There's
me
just too
full.
much?
Yeah, a little bit too much right now.
And I guess, Joaquin, you are the focus of attention,
Right.
rightly so. I mean, Gager's mask is there, which he has kindly left for us to display here at the EST studios. But no, you shouldn't be nervous at all. I mean, this
thanks.
is a safe space.
I'll tell myself that.
Yeah. This is the tree of trust.
Tree of trust.
You've seen our logo. EST Hangout logo is a treehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it
this
is,
is
yeah.
Yeah.
Tree of trust.
the
That's right.
clubhouse.
Thank you.
We're in the clubhouse.
Yeah. The clubhouse.
The EST Hangout Clubhouse.
Right. Exactly.
Presented by Popeyes.
Is it?
Oh, I think
Popeyes
they're-
presents everything.
I think they're all of our
Dusty's
studios.
around the
so
corner. He could
they're in charge of all of our studios.
Furby's
so
a
they
beauty.
still, yeah, this is the Popeyes Clubhouse for the EST.
Okay. So your album comes out. I know, like, you guys have been around for a while,
Yep.
and I've obviously been a huge fan since the beginning because your lead singer is my good friend Ryan Meyer.
Yep.
He and I went to college together. On the first day, Luke, he was so annoying. The
Really?
first day, I hadn't been to school, and I graduated 4 years prior, high school, and Ryan Meyer was
Yeah.
fresh out of high school,
Yeah.
and he was like, hey, man,
Yeah.
hey, what about this? What about that? And I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to listen to the instructors. And lo and
Nothing.
behold-
Not much has changed since.
No, I know. And congratulations to Raimai as well, and Brandon and the whole crew. Like, this is phenomenal. But how do you feel having this album released? And like, this is a labor of love, obviously.
Yeah.
You've worked towards this.
Yeah.
Some of these songs had come out as singles in years past, and they were great and phenomenal. And they were nice as standalones, and they did very well. But, you know, where are your emotions today?
Well, like, so this has been a labor of love for like a long time now, right? Some couple of these songs on this album are like 10 years old, right? And even though like the album is out today, like you'd think like big weight off your shoulders, you can kind of relax. It's like now the real work starts to pick up, right? Like
Right.
shows and promoting it. Don't get me wrong, like there's a lot of work that went into this. You know, over the last 4 years at least.
Because
But-
some of this was recorded 2019.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I remember when you guys were recording those.
like
some of
the
those
original.
songs.
The original idea was to release like just an EP, right? Like a 5-song
Yeah.
EP, and that's what we were going to do. I think it was 2019. Ryan's been saying it was 2018, but I think it was 19 that we went into the studio, and that's what we were going to do. We were going to record our first 5 songs, right? And those would have been Midnight Riot, Somebody Else, Veins,
M.
and
Yeah.
Throw Me a Rope. And that's what we were going to do. We were going to release that in the summer, I think, of 2020. And then obviously COVID happened, and so we decided like let's hold on to it because it was we think so. I hope everyone else does as well. But it's a good album. It was done right by the right people, and we didn't want that to just kind of be put out there without proper backing for it. So we held tight and played some shows, wrote some more songs, and then we had an opportunity to go down to Calgary to OCL Studios and record just a single with Brian Moncars. He's worked with like Our Lady Peace and some other and like the Tea Party and stuff like that. And he's we went down to Calgary, recorded Sharp Knife, and really liked the work and the feel that it was with Brian.
And Sharp Knife was the song that you heard as we were coming into the Hangout today.
Yeah, so we liked how we worked with him, and the OCL Studios is a really neat place. Like you just go down there, you live, you're out in kind of the country, and so then we decided, let's do some more. So in early January, we went back there. We recorded the other 4 songs. 1, 2.
It's supposed to be 11.
3. Maybe 3 songs, or I can't remember how many we recorded back there.
Right.
But we got it all done, and then it was like, let's do a full length here. And so we put it all together. Our amazing piano player Keenan did all the graphics. He does all that, built everything together. So. Yeah, super pumped, super happy about it, and we hope everyone else is as well.
The artwork's cool. Go ahead.
Oh, as you said, like the songs you recorded here in Edmonton, you brought up producers from Nashville for those ones.
Yeah, Jimmy Mansfield and Paul Rogers.
They were fun. I remember stopping by the studio a few times.
Dudes.
And then you guys
Hilarious.
came to my place one time.
Yeah.
And then we went to an establishment after where they had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They enjoyed themselves that night.
Yeah.
Bones hits us up with a text early in the show, 218-9999 as
your mask
Gage
filled in.
casually strolls in.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, we're
Lucas
there.
wants to wear it, by the way.
I was gonna wear it for the whole 2 hours.
Never met, buddy.
Lucas,
Yeah, look at
I'm
that.
Lou House in your F1 fantasy.
They're in the same
know.
fantasy league. You guys are in the same fantasy league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best part about that league, sorry, before you continue,
Oh,
is that
my
like there'd be
goodness.
people that would make comments in that league, and he would always respond, Lucas.
Oh, I know.
No one knows who
People
I am.
would not know
Yeah.
who he was, and it made us laugh just so much. Like me and Eric knowing that like he's the first one like telling people that's okay.
Yeah, don't
It's all
worry, Shog,
good.
it's fine, yeah.
It's fine.
They've made some changes to how everything works in that thing too. You had you don't get the chips. You only get them once this year. I thought it was twice. So
I'll be honest with you. Each year, I have to get Matt to help me to log in. I set it at the beginning of the year, and I think
Just
I'm
let
still
him-
like I still
You're
think I'm
good.
third or something.
Yeah, you're
He's
doing
terrible
well.
with technology.
Oh, I know.
When we worked together and shared an office at the station, I got mad at him so much because I had to help him with everything.
Yeah, but
And you were in charge of
helped
the
you with
tech.
other things.
Oh well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Morning,
I
Tommy.
suck at
Like
Hey,
that.
good
drinking.
morning, Joaquin.
Morning, man.
Let's get to this Bones text really quickly. I'm just gonna get it out of the way. Bones text in says, confession time. I first thought it was Waylon and the Wolf. Then I thought it was wailing at the Wolf. And then finally, Lieutenant Eric got me straightened out. Sorry, Lucas, from Bones.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, don't worry about it. We've got called much worse.
Whale of the Wolf. Isn't
Whale
that
of
the
the
key-
Wolf.
Whale of the Wolf,
major
Whale
one
in
that
the
you
Wolf, Wolf and the Whale.
Yeah.
The Whale and the Wolf. We get a lot.
Oh, no, the.
What's the origin story of
don't-
whale? Nothing.
I don't know.
Nothing. Yeah, I thought maybe it was a fishing trip.
No. There is something. I know Ryan. Ryan was the one who kind of came up with it. I originally wanted Moth.
Moth.
Yeah. And no one liked it.
That sounds very like heavy metal. To
I
me.
know, that's what they
That
said.
sounds like you guys
I
have to
know,
be full
whatever.
heavy metal to be Moth.
Ryan-
Moth at the Mead House. What is it? Mead
Hall.
Mead
Here.
Hall.
But the
That's
thing-
what we get.
But
Yeah.
the thing about like being Whale and the Wolf, so it's a W name, right? So for everything, you're always kind of at like the tail end of, when
right.
they make posters and stuff like that. So I was
Yeah.
like, guys, like Moth doesn't sound too bad now, does it? Right?
But the
everyone
logos look
hated
pretty
it.
great with the two W's
Yeah,
next
yeah,
to each
yeah,
other.
yeah.
And the A in the middle.
Ryan Mai's always very in tune with like nature, I've found. And when
yeah.
I heard Whale and the Wolf was the name of the band, I'm like, seems like a Ryan Mai
Yeah,
thing.
Ryan, if you're watching and you want to text me what the meaning of it is, I would like
That'd
to
be
know
great.
as well.
That'd be great.
Enlightenment.
I've only been in this band for 11 years. I'd like to know.
Just
what
one of the founders.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
The theme, is there a theme to this album? Is that tough to come up with, especially if you're spreading out the recording and compilation of it over the course
Well,
of,
the
6-7 years?
The theme envy, like, and each of the songs kind of can kind of go into it, right? Maybe not the last one better, but yeah, envy is just sort of like we see, especially with social media and all that kind of stuff, that like you're always envious of somebody else. You're always looking, and you always I wish I had that, or I want to be that. And you can kind of hear it in our songs too. And you know, we're not immune to it either. We see all these bands, you know, doing so well, and maybe not, maybe, you know, like they've only been around for a year and a half or something like that. And it's like, man, why can't that be us or whatever? And we're just pounding pavement, and sometimes you feel like you're just spinning your tires. So yeah, that's basically kind of like the artwork kind of shows it too, where it's, you know, the two women with the pink going into the eyes. It's just kind of like a looking in and wanting to be the other, right? Mm-hmm. So I didn't give a really good answer. I'm probably the last
good.
one you
I
probably
like
should have had.
I was wondering about the crying. I was like, why are they crying? So that makes sense.
It's just sort of it's the looking into each other and wanting to be the other person.
Yeah.
So,
I have that constantly.
Okay, I just have this quick this quick one. You guys had the album or like the release earlier in your guys' time as a band. What's the difference between them, right?
Which one? What did you
Man as a Wolf or whatever. You had that little.
Oh, that
What
EP
is that?
there?
This is an EP. What's the difference?
Just the amount of songs.
Is it?
Yeah, I believe. I think
Because
that's
it's
what
the
I've
first
always
full
known.
album, right?
Full album,
Yeah.
yeah. EP is usually just a shorter amount. Then we release the singles. The other three, Touch, So It Goes, and Staring at the Sky. Those all three were they were all singles, but we packaged them as, you know, 3 singles as one. And then this is the first full length.
Scalding Gourd chimes in at the text line 780-218-9999. Whale and the Wolf, because they hated being confused with Taylor Swift.
Right.
Yeah,
Confirm or deny?
I would confirm that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys wear the same outfits she does
We
on
look
stage.
quite similar.
Yes, I knew it.
Big Maple Sports Card does ask, when can we expect a full album dedicated to WWF WWE theme song remix?
So I don't know if he's referring to over COVID too. We were we weren't doing a whole lot, and everyone was trying to get creative on how to do stuff, right? So we were all recording different WWE theme music and then putting it together.
Yeah.
So we did. I think it was
that.
the Big Show, Austin, and DX, and we had another one too, but we just we're done with this.
I did love your cover of the Cavis Reed Pump Up song.
Yeah,
That was amazing. You guys performed it before one of the games on stage, one of the Elks games
Home
this
opener
year.
this year.
You know what's really funny about that too? So we just filmed a music video for our next single, "Living in My Head," and Michael Maxis, he's done music videos for a bunch of different people, like Orville Peck and Sheepdogs and stuff like that. And so we were on a call with him. We got a grant. We were trying to get people, directors and stuff, to do this, and he was just like, guys, I saw that video of the Tina Turner cover that you guys did. He's like, I absolutely love it. For the next 3 weeks or something like that, we had people just gushing over it, not knowing not nasties or anything like that either, just loving the fact that we did this. And they had no idea what was going on. They loved Ryan's voice with the Tina Turner part, and they had no idea what I was saying. But
That was the most important part.
We got pushed. We were their Lemon Entertainment, they're like, you guys got to do a recording of that song. We're like, it was a joke. But what the best part about it was that Ryan and I wanted to do this so bad before the game, and the other guys who aren't maybe big sports guys are like, Tina had just passed away at that point,
Right.
and they were like, this might be a little insensitive. We probably shouldn't do it. It's like, guys, no, it will hit. We have to do this. And now just to kind of rub their face in it, because we got so much praise for it. It was so good. They were so wrong about it.
Okay, question for the two of you, because you said you're a little nervous coming on here today. Is there a performance you're ever nervous before, before you went on stage? And for you, was there ever a game you got nervous for before you headed on the ice?
No, for me performing, actually, that's I've never really had too much of nerves for there's some, before a couple seconds before you go on, but I think again for me it's I'm one of 5, right? So I know that the other 4 guys up there are just as well rehearsed as I am. This is a little different, right? There's no rehearsal for this. You're going flying by the seat of your pants, but when it comes to performing, no, I don't really get nervous.
Do you ever have a moment?
I've had performance anxiety in all aspects of my life.
Good
But,
morning, Joaquin.
No, I'm trying to think when I'll keep it kind of Oilers centric because it's. I was with them in 2 different times. I was younger and then I was older, right? So when I was younger, I didn't care. You know, it didn't.
one thing.
It was. Sorry.
there you go.
It didn't matter. Like it was just the natural progression of things. And then it's funny as I got older, I would say I was a little bit more nervous because I knew the magnitude of what I was doing and what it all meant. So ignorance is bliss, I think, as a goalie sometimes being younger, and that's kind of what I see with Stuart Skinner. He just went through the natural progression, got to the NHL, got the job, got the starting job, had the kid, became an all-star, was starting in the play. So hopefully he can take a lot of that experience into the next year. But yeah, so I think as a younger person, I wasn't as nervous as I was when I was older, which is kind of weird thinking because, experience and stuff, but just everything else I realized where I was and what it all meant, I think.
You have more time to know, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was just I didn't realize what I was in, and then you always hear you don't know what you have till you lose it and stuff. You go, God, I was there, and things like that. So it was it was kind of funny that way.
Interesting. Joaquin, Gage, and Lucas Holt are our guests today. Lucas and his band Whale and the Wolf releasing the album Envy late last night. You can check it out on Spotify and Apple, everywhere basically, right, Luke?
Yeah.
And you guys will be performing. We had a text from Lance saying, hey, are you guys going to be playing the Heritage Classic? Come on, you can tell us. We're cool.
Well, nothing as of yet, but if they want, we would be definitely down. We played Grey Cup 2018.
Yeah.
And that was bloody cold, so we could do it again if they want. For sure, guys. Yeah, give us a call.
Yeah,
There is a
OAG.
show tomorrow, Starlight Room as well.
Yep.
Tickets.
Tickets
Where?
still available.
Starlight website or?
Yeah.
I just
That's a
went
good-
to-
Actually, no. Go to this is the best way. Go to our website
Yeah.
www.whalandthewolf.com, and we have actually all the different ticket links for all of our shows that are coming up. So yeah, just click on the Edmonton one. It'll take you to the right one because we have seen some ones where there's some resale and they're going for quite a bit more than what they should be. So
Wow.
yeah, so go to the get the right
You
ones.
guys go.
Yeah, look at us, eh?
Yeah, people in resale market.
Pirating
You're
our
in the
stuff,
full
yeah.
resale market.
Heck,
and
look at that.
everything.
Yeah.
You guys
That's when you know
aliases
you've made it.
selling. Yeah.
That's what I would
Well,
say.
the way you know you made it is if you were still around for Napster or LimeWire, and then you get your stuff actually pirated. That's when you know you would
Well,
make
are
it.
you on? Are you sure you're not on any of those?
I haven't checked Napster as of late, but
I'm
Is
thinking the torrent
Napster
site.
still?
Actually, Napster is still going.
No way.
What?
I think
I thought you
Napster
guys were
still is
joking.
going as a small little thing. It's still active.
but it's
in a
not.
sense.
It's not for
But
what it
no, people-
normally or originally was, right?
Well, and
Yeah.
it's people don't use that for their piracy.
Oh, okay.
There's other sites for piracy. In fact, actually, in
Like Kazaa.
May, the big one
Or
went
Bearshare.
I
down.
remember that.
I remember Kazaa.
Remember Kazaa?
Yeah, no, the big one for piracy went down this past
Was
spring.
it Pirate Bay?
No.
I remember that one.
There's one, but it was like a.
What was it?
big deal.
LimeWire was the other one?
LimeWire was big.
a-
Yeah.
that was a
Yeah,
big
I did a
one, too.
lot of liming back in the day.
That's one that would always crash your computer.
yeah.
why it's
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
Parents would
yeah.
love that. Yeah.
There's always something wrong with those ones.
But it was because I was overseas, and God, I can't imagine being overseas with the streaming services now. But you had to download all the shows and movies, and I
Yeah.
remember certain points in Germany, we if someone was going home or a girlfriend or wife was going home, we'd give them money to go to like an H&M or whatever it was and pick up series of shows on DVDs, right? Because you
Oh.
couldn't watch those back then, so they were just.
I miss HMV.
Oh, it's great.
Oh,
You go
yeah,
through
that
the
was
OC. I watched all the OC. That was great. Now another show that I don't know. It's on my TikTok now for some reason, but The West Wing. That was a.
I never got into that
never
one,
got
but I
into
do
that
really
either.
want to watch that one.
Oh, fantastic.
But he did
show.
get into the OC. I got into the OC when I first moved out when I was 18 with a buddy of mine, Corey Coleman. Hey, Corey.
From Italy.
Yeah.
He should be tuned in.
He better be. But yeah, that was great. And then Matt, we went to
COVID.
Mexico, And it was on the Netflix there. I was like, oh, this is sweet. I really want to watch this, but I'm gonna wait until I get home. And I totally forgot about like the 2 different Netflix. So Matt burnt me a bunch of.
I got you
CDs
all of that.
I haven't
and then
watched it
that
yet.
was when COVID hit.
Yeah, I still haven't watched it.
And then within COVID, it started streaming.
Yeah,
I think it's on Amazon.
that's
or
a
was.
great. You said what? Like the
I
first
watched
season
it
has
again.
like 400 episodes or
It's like
45
27,
episodes?
28 episodes. Like
Yeah.
seasons 1, 2, and 3 are like season 1. I would say is like you could probably break it down into 3 seasons nowadays. Like with the way they went, like they moved quick with their stories. They had the Oliver storyline that was done within like the first half of the season. In regular television nowadays, that's like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
they did and that was back in the day when it was an hour-long show, so it's 42 minutes for the episode on regular TV.
Yeah.
Oh, I did the rewatch at the start of COVID.
Oh, did you?
13 days.
I'm
Crushed
going
them
through
all.
Home
It was
Improvement
the
right now.
best.
Great show.
Oh.
This OC, the Ock, never watched it.
No.
No, sorry, it wasn't
No?
my jam.
Really?
No.
Because I figured that would have been perfect. Because
That's
that was
totally-
like right when you're in
yeah.
high school,
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
and that was a big deal for like high schoolers at that time.
Yeah, I know it was, and I think maybe part of me being just like
Handsome.
contrarian. Well, get you $20. It's in the mail.
I thought for sure this would be all you.
No, I was into like CSI Miami. I love like David Caruso, as cheesy as he was with those catchphrases and the shades.
My
I
buddy and
loved
I,
it.
we wanted to do that for Halloween. I would just hold a boom box, and he was going to go as Caruso and just have one-liners, and I would hit the Who thing every time.
But you would have to do it as Nick. I think his name was Nick. You got to be the part.
Those
Yeah.
were great shows.
They were.
Nowadays with the phone, like you could do that by yourself.
You could.
That's a great costume idea. Just have your phone ready to
Yeah,
go, make
and
your
just
one-liner,
Caruso.
pull one off, and in the
Yeah.
other hand, click the button.
Yeah.
Bluetooth to the speaker wherever you're at and just take over.
Yeah.
That's a solid idea.
I
That is a
think you
good
got
one.
something there.
I might
Gager.
have something there.
My
All right.
favorite
Oh, yeah, go
costume,
ahead.
by the way, was I dressed up as Will Fraser one year.
Did
And
you?
it was
Hey.
great.
But the old Will Fraser.
Yes.
Yeah, not
Yes.
Slim Will.
No, because he wasn't around at that time. And I just went around people and kept hitting them and talking to them. And
I have the photo of you scratching your stomach. Yeah, eating the apple.
I loved being Will that year. That was great.
That
I was
good one.
a Hooters girl one time. That went
Really?
over well. Yeah, it was really.
Was that a team party or something?
No,
or?
it was just a normal party I showed up at.
I went. The 2 ones I like. I went as post Kurt Cobain, and then I went as Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
That was that's a
Oh,
good one.
nice.
You got the look.
Yeah.
And you have a lot more hair than he does, but
Yeah, but you still
You
put
wear
it
the
in the bandana.
Bambisi,
And see, it
yeah.
looks like
Yeah.
you're bald anyway under it.
yeah.
And you grew the good stash for it too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
That was a strong look
Yep.
one.
I did.
Jay texts in 780-218-9999. This one's for Lucas. Jay says, Lucas, I couldn't stop listening to the album last night, and I really hope I get to see you guys. When are you touring in BC? I'll be the guy with the sign that says, I'm an AM Nasty, and my wife allowed me one night out, and I picked this show.
Whoa.
Okay, so we got a couple of shows. I'm just making sure I get the right dates. The 12th we're in Vancouver, and the 13th, 14th we're in Kelowna of October.
There you go, Jay. And your wife was here yesterday, and she
Yeah.
was saying you're going to be gone for a little while. What's the touring like? Are you guys crazy? Because a couple of you are dads now.
Yeah, so it's going to be different. This will be the first tour that we've gone on with, well, since we've had kids. Kids aren't coming with us, but yeah, it's different. You know, touring, you always get people like, oh man, you must see so much. You know, and I'll tell you what you see. You see a gas station, see a McDonald's, you see the backstage of a venue, and then you're off to the next place,
And
right?
A&Ws.
So
That's
and
sexy.
A&Ws,
Because
yeah.
you guys were big with the NWs.
Yeah, we put them in our liners. We thank them. They fed us for the last 10 years. But yeah, touring's always interesting. And like I said, this year is going to be a lot different too with kids and stuff like that. Obviously, huge thank you and shout out to our spouses, Haley, Chelsea, for taking care of the kids while we're gone. But yeah, touring's great. You do get to see a lot of the country. Those long drives too, where you're tired doing a 12-hour drive back from Vancouver or something like that. It's usually the funniest times, right? Everyone's just so exhausted. But yeah, it's a labor of love too. You know, for the 45 minutes that you actually get to play, there's a lot of other time and energy that you get put into other things. So it's good.
You ever hit the Bullfrog Recording Studios? Is that still there in Vancouver?
I have no idea. Vancouver is always such like a quick in and out just because of where we are.
Yeah.
And the way that we're doing it this time too is that like it'd be nice if we would have been hitting Kelowna first and then going to Vancouver, but we're hitting Vancouver and then coming back. So it's usually like the trip out there is 12 hours.
Yeah,
By the time you get in, you just go straight in, and then your next day you're somewhere else. That's like when we played Montreal a few years back, and we were coming from Windsor. And so we left right after the show in Windsor, and I think it was like an 8-hour drive or something like this. And then we ended up getting through Toronto, and we were I think we were about an hour outside of Montreal, and then there was a car accident. And we were stuck on the highway for like another 6 hours. We basically pulled into Montreal, got our place to stay, went to the venue, played the show, and then left for Ottawa. Like, we were in Montreal, I swear, for like 6 hours.
Oh, that's a great city to.
I know, and it was my birthday too. I think it was like my 29th birthday or 28th birthday or something like that.
Happy birthday, Luke.
Yeah, no kidding. Spent it in a van.
No
And then
Oh,
I
is
was-
van? Do you have?
Oh,
you
they're
don't
in
have
a van.
They're in a van.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is there an
Yeah.
etiquette to being on the road in a van with your band?
For us, it's so what we do is whoever's driving, you have a guy in the passenger who's awake, right?
Okay.
So if you're the next person to drive, then you usually get, because there's 5 of us, right? So you'll get the far back so that you can sleep a little bit, and then you're up to drive, and then you get your co-pilot with you, and then the rest of the guys do whatever the heck you want, kind of thing, right? But yeah, like not really any etiquette. That's our main one, right? It's just like if you're next to drive, you get to sleep. I know Brandon, once we were coming back from Kamloops, and we were driving through the night, and we were in Jasper, and it was my turn to drive, and he's like, Lucas, do you think I can take the back? I was like, "Shut."
And he sounded just like that.
I think I'm getting sick. I was like, I don't care. Heck, man. But yeah.
How do you guys decide when to stop for bathroom breaks? Because that's always my scare. Like, I hate that being on a road trip, being the guy that has to be like, "Can we stop?" Like, I don't want
Guilty.
to be that guy.
You feel guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least but it's good with 5 guys like too. At least you can just like pull over to the side of the road and do it.
That's
right?
fair.
We don't have to find
Yeah.
a place to go.
Yeah.
That one we were in, I don't know if I should be saying all this if they like it, but that one when we were going
They sent you here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they
You're
could have
their
came.
delegate.
When we were going to Montreal, when we got on that accident on the highway, one of the guys in the band, I won't say who, that's how I'll keep it good, but one of the guys in the band really had to go number 2, hey. And like it was bad. And I still have this like the picture in my head of him like walking up and down the highway. There was a guy who was pulling like a 5th wheel. And we were like, man, just go and ask him, see if he'll let you do it, right? So he's walking up and down the highway with like a little plastic bag. He was gonna go ask these guys. Like, it's just that picture of him, like, just he's defeated. Like, he doesn't know what he's gonna do. And those ones where you really, like, we've been on a strict diet of just nothing but booze. So like, this isn't solid waste, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, he eventually did find like an overpass and out of the way. But yeah, these cars were backed up first. There's no real place for you to go. It's just ingrained in my head. It's such a good memory.
I love my emergency poop stories. They're the best. They're just the best when you get into that situation. Oh my god!
I had one working. You used to be a cable guy. Hey, yeah. I had one when I was working, and I was out in Evergreen Trailer Park, and I was like, oh no,
Yeah,
like, this is coming now.
Well, some guys I worked with had no problems.
Yeah.
Going number 2 in someone's house. I was just like,
Never.
there's no way, because that's going to be the one where you have to sit there for 20 minutes. For
and then
sure.
and then you hit it, and the little thing doesn't go anywhere.
Oh
right?
my gosh. The only time I did it once. I only did it once, and the only time is because the guy was like 105, and I went downstairs, and he hadn't been down there for 20 years.
Yeah.
So I went down there, and he said, "You okay down there?" And I was like, "I'm all right, and just figuring stuff out." And so it worked. But God, we would sit for hours and talk about like stories like that. Guys, I remember one of my buddies, he dropped his tool belt. He said, I forgot something at the car, dropped his tool belt on the front lawn and got in his car to go to a bathroom.
Wow.
Yeah, and I told the story. I had to do that too, and I got to it was an A&W bathroom actually, but no toilet paper.
Oh no.
Yeah, let's just say I had to finish the day without socks.
Oh boy. Okay, moving on. Let's dip into the inbox. 780-218-99 is Joaquin, Gage, and Lucas Holt enlighten us with stories of installing cable, and how you handle tricky situations.
See, that's what I never would have thought of.
Oh boy.
Like honestly, like
I don't
I never
wanna
would have
think
thought
about
that
that.
that's. Now that I think of it, like yeah, that makes sense. But thinking about okay, well, what happens if you have to go to the washroom in someone's house?
It's terrible.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be late.
It's always I got to get some stock.
Yeah.
You know, and then you,
Yeah,
Yeah.
cover it up. Huffy the Clown wants to know, Lucas, oddly enough, not about BMs. I live out on the island, and I hate going through Vancouver, so he's with you there. And then, actually, it was Matt that wants to know, what is your most memorable band you have played together with for a show? Because you guys are doing some shows with Biff Naked, I believe. Or you have?
we got
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Actually, when this whole tour wraps up, back here, I think at Pure Casino.
Okay.
On the 2nd of November. So we played with Biff a couple times. She's Biff, like I know her. Right?
Yeah.
Like, we played with her a couple times. We played with Bush actually a couple times.
What?
Yeah, twice. We played once at the Bears Howler, and then we opened for them at K-Days a handful of years ago as well. One Bad Son's always great. They're really good dudes. In our old band, Teenage Gentlemen, we opened up for Dr. Hook once. That was kind of neat.
Really?
Yeah, their band was really nice. We did chicken fights in the Century Casino back room. Yeah, I don't know. I like the one for us is always like One Bad Son. They've been really, really good to us. They've taken us on tours, and last year in Saskatoon, they had Rock 102's 20th anniversary, right? So we actually got to we played Sass Place to a sold out Sass Place, which was just dream come true, especially for like guys like myself and Ryan who grew up in Saskatoon. Like I went and saw my first concert there. Like to be in there, to have that many people watching you, like that was a real surreal moment. So yeah, I'd say One Bad Son. They might not be the biggest, but that we've played with kind of thing, but they've always been the best to us.
Would a band like Bush remember you guys, or you guys are just in passing kind of thing?
Yeah, and that's another thing too, is like a lot of these people that you play with, like unless you're going on tour with them, like for a good amount of time, like you don't really see them. I think we just said like Gavin was walking by and we're like, hi. And
Hello.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
But no, you always say you're friends. That was the Dave Jameson and I way with our show. Anytime we had just even one person on, we always called them friends on the show. We're friends with them. And that's how you sell it.
Yep.
We're friends.
Yeah.
You're friends with Bush.
They know who we are.
Yeah, that's how you show them.
Absolutely. You're on the poster with them.
Exactly.
I remember, I think it was Steve Bays from Hot Heat when Hot Heat had their nice rise and we're getting some time in the U.S. and some play there. There was one band, I can't remember if it was the Bravery, when the Bravery was still a thing, or one of these other bands, and there was like a festival, and they thought that these guys were complete a-holes.
Yeah.
So they just went in and trashed their green room. Have you seen stuff like that?
No, we've
Pardon me if I'm wrong about that story, but I remember him talking about something like that. I'm like, I wonder if that happens
Jesus.
often.
I could imagine, like we have played with some people who are just complete, jerks, or in their heads about themselves or whatever. But like usually at that point we'll just make fun of them in the band or something. Like afterwards, like I know there was one when we played in Penticton on this One Bad Son tour, and she came in. I don't know. We didn't even watch the band, but they came in and they were talking to us about like, oh yeah, label stuff, and they're from Winnipeg. And there's one thing, like especially if you're sharing a green room with another band, like you have your own riders, right? And you should know which is in your rider and which is for everybody and which is for some other people. And especially if it's the headlining band, like don't touch their
stuff.
Oh yeah, shit, because we can say it, right? I'll put the dollar in the jar. But yeah, she came in and just cracked their bottle of wine. And I think it was during our set, and you could just see the drummer and the lead singer just laying into him. Like we're on the side of the stage, she's just getting, and they were on their way back to Winnipeg, like right then and there, like they were gone. So, yeah, just don't touch other people's stuff.
Do you play an instrument?
Well, if you look back in August 2001, Sunshine Boy, I'm proficient in the clarinet.
No kidding.
That was code for something. You were the Sunshine Boy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shirtless, or did you do like the rock where you had a fanny pack
I
and
looked
a chain
phenomenal.
over
I
it.
looked phenomenal. Not
Yeah.
like I do now, Tommy. I was
I
a
think
few
you looked
lbs
distinguished.
lighter, but no, I went to Heritage Days. It was me, Mike Comrie, I think Hork was there, Anson Carter, and Cleary.
That's a crew.
And and
That's a
they
good one. That's
and
a good list.
Yeah, and then we a girl came up. Hey, does anyone want to be the Sunshine Boy? And all these guys were coming. I wasn't going back, so I said right here. So laid down on the grass and leaned back. Tried to show the washboard a little bit more, and yeah, just had the rose-colored glasses. It's funny because they had that picture up in the Oilers' room the whole year that next year because I went and dominated in the English League and won the Hart Trophy, and then came back and that was up in the room. It was pretty funny.
I'm assuming
Is
you
there-
still have that.
No, I don't.
You
Is
don't
there
have it?
anywhere where we can
No,
find it?
Yeah,
I
can
don't.
we
Well,
find
it's going to be in the Sun's archives.
It's gotta
We
be.
know a few people.
Well,
over there.
the public library, I think you could access old
We
newspapers.
talked to Jerry Montajon.
I think we could go and probably get that.
I'd
we've
love
got
to
a
get
couple
it.
of options.
Yeah.
We got to get that.
We'll
we
get the
got to
negative.
get that. Like that's artwork for in this place.
Yeah,
Gager the Sunshine Boy.
yeah. And,
I love,
it was
I love
great.
the name, the Sunshine Boy.
Oh, it's so
Not
just
Sunshine Man, but
complete
like boy.
cheese. What did I say? Long walks on the beach, clarinet, holding hands, enjoy a good sunset.
Does Megan know about this? Were you with Megan at the time?
Well, no, because I could get into the story with my wife.
This is how you met your wife. She saw
Well,
you in the paper.
Did she know you were an Oiler?
No.
Okay.
Well, I met her my first stint with the Oilers back in 95, 96.
Yeah.
She was just a young pup, actually going to skate with Disney on Ice like the next day.
Oh.
I was at Earl's Calgary Trail with Doug Waite, and that was when they had peanuts and stuff, and we were playing pool tables and stuff like that. And then I saw my future wife, and I went up and talked to her, thinking I was a big deal. She completely gassed me, like whatever. I think I gave her tickets to a game or something, and she took.
Did you just carry tickets around with you in your wallet?
When you're single, you take them with you.
I got it.
yeah.
Back then, they give you your tickets before, so I had them with.
Okay.
So, or we'd get we were home for a few games, so you'd get them all, right? And then, so fast forward years later, I'm back with Edmonton. Summertime, I met, it was called Halo, I think, downtown, a bar. Megan walks in, and I recognize her from 4 years prior. And I walk up, I go, hey, remember me? She goes, no. I'm like, what? And so then I invite everyone to get her back, like to talk to her more. I invite her and everybody. Mo, first round, invite him back to my place on White Ave. She doesn't know I'm a hockey player at this point. And I've told this before, but I had one area of my kitchen where I was too lazy to take the bottles back, but I was making money, so there was just expensive wine all there, right? So, and she was over there because she worked at Century Grill. She knew, she's like looking at these bottles of wine and goes, oh my God, I think this guy's a drug dealer. But turned out we stayed up all night talking, and then the next day was Canada Day. We spent the whole day. And then she dumped me. She says, I don't want to be with you. And she went to Banff or Jasper with her. She was coaching Carolina Costner, who was the Italian figure skating champion. She actually carried the flag for Italy at the Olympics. My wife went to the Olympics with her in Torino as her coach. And then, but she was in Jasper, and you know me, I forgot that she was in Jasper, and so I went full psycho boyfriend. Well, it was nice to meet you, and the progression of my texts were, and this texting has just come out too. I was always, well, I guess you don't want to see where this thing can go, and then, well, fine, I don't want to talk to you anymore, and then, but it was out of service. And so as soon as she came back in, she go bloop, 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 and then psycho, and I was like, oh no, and she phoned me, and we went for coffee, and she thought it was cute. So, 20 years, 2 kids later. She can only say no once. All right.
Yeah. I thought the story was going to go that when you're like, she didn't know that I was a hockey player, but she saw me in the sun.
Oh yeah,
I was gonna.
yeah. No, that.
Knew it was a
Look at
Sunshine
this
Boy.
model
Yeah.
guy. Oh, I want to be with this
should have
model.
gone. I should have got that like just big
Blown
on,
up.
Yeah.
blown
Like
up,
the George
up,
Costanza,
yeah, above the bed, the Sunshine Boy pick. But yeah,
Or just
that'd be
like
good.
on the wall with some lights shining on it, and it's a nice conversation piece
Yeah.
for everyone that walks in.
I've driven by like the Sun and thought of just going in there. Hey, can we?
You
check
you
They
remember,
have to have
you
it.
remember me? You remember me?
I think I
Heritage
was one
Days?
of the last Sunshine Boys because like I think they got rid of it.
No one
I
could
don't
top that. Like it was like you just set the bar so high.
Why even try?
At that point, it's like
You
we
would think.
can't do this
You
anymore.
would
Shut her
think,
down.
but,
We're never getting someone
Shut her
else
down,
better than
boys,
this.
yeah.
Let's finish this off.
but it'd be funny if someone like actually went. I'd love to run into someone that was looking through that paper and was like a rabid Oilers fan and sees me as the Sunshine.
Isn't that the backup goalie?
That was in the sports section too.
No,
It was on
or
the
no?
back. It was no.
It was
It was in the.
Sunshine
The
Girl.
Sunshine
Yeah.
Girl. So I didn't know where
Yeah.
they put the boy then.
No, we were in
I don't know,
editorials. or
classifieds?
something. Classifieds. Yeah.
You guys should do that. You should bring it back here for like the EST Sunshine
That's
Boys.
a great idea.
Yeah.
We're actually working on a calendar.
The EST calendar. Oh,
yeah.
jeez.
Yeah.
I was a calendar. I was in a calendar too. Yeah.
About a month.
It's been September 2001 in northern Scotland for a long time now.
Really?
Yeah, it was a good picture though. That was really good.
So
Like
you'd
your
be up
English
all
club?
month, right?
Yeah, we had an awesome calendar. It was good.
What was the pose?
I was on
or was it
like
just a hockey ice?
I was on like the pec deck, shirt off, sprayed with baby oil.
All right. Did you have your hair dyed too? Because
Oh,
you had
yeah.
the bleach.
No,
hair for
no,
a
no.
bit, right?
I gave the hair one more. It was the last hurrah, and it was kind of. It's so sad when you lose your hair, but I've told this before. But the Oilers back then in the old rink in the workout room, the mirrors were at an angle where you could kind of look up and you could see the back of your head. And I was starting to get the baboon's bum back there, and I was like, Jesus. And then trying to comb over a little bit and and then my captain in Air Scotland where I was playing, we were doing dry land and ladder work.
Yeah.
And so we were doing quick feet drills, and my head was down, and they were on the bikes in front of me. And so I after practice, my my captain, Alan Schuler is his name. He goes, Joaquin, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, Jesus, like, what, talk to me. What are you talking about? I got all nervous, and then he was like, look, man, love what you're doing here. And he was like all professional. It's great. You're great with, obviously a leader and all this stuff, but watching you doing the ladder work, it might be time to let the dream go. The hair's not looking, because it was wet and long, and I was like, I went home and shaved it right then.
Was he also? Did he have hair, or was he a bald?
Oh
man as
no,
well?
good-looking guy, full hair. Just
It's kind of a bold thing to be doing with like. I'd never
Another
go
guy.
up
You
to
know what,
somebody and be
though?
like, hey.
I appreciate it because I still thought I was okay.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes you need the tough love, and
Yeah.
Alan gave it to me.
He seems like the type of European hockey player that wears scarves by choice.
No, well, he was kind of. Yeah, he had
You
good
gotta
style.
have some cojones
Yeah,
to pull
yeah.
off the
But
scarf
he looked
by
good.
choice look.
He looked good.
Yeah.
So I
You respected that.
I respected him. It was a good decision. My head's not that bad when it's shaved, so.
That's a good look on
Yeah,
you.
Yeah,
and
I
you
mean,
don't
it
have
works.
any weird deformities
No,
or anything.
no.
It's not coned or
No,
anything.
Yeah.
no, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, Lucas was wearing your helmet earlier, and he said that it fits really nice. A very
yeah.
symmetrical.
I
melon.
forgot the headband because it's Velcro. That would hurt a little bit
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the thing. But no, yeah, you should wear it for a concert. That'd be great.
I'll wear it this Friday. Starlight Room. Tickets $20 in advance or $25 at the door.
Hey, there you go. Lucas, Lance wants to know who's your favorite Oiler.
Of all time.
I don't know. Well, you better have
Yeah,
the
well,
right
if
answer.
it's of all time, it's
I'll go
Gager
with second
for
best.
sure.
It's fine.
yeah.
I will be honest. Well, no.
Well, you grew up in Saskatoon.
yeah,
You're not
I-
from Edmonton. Let's clarify that
yes,
part right
I
there.
won't be honest, and I'll just say Connor McDavid.
Can't go wrong
What,
with that.
what I'd say is being honest is that like I'm not an Oiler fan.
Right.
Bruins are your
I grew up as a Bruins fan, and yeah, like I grew up in Saskatoon. We didn't have a team. You can kind of pick and choose who you wanna cheer for. My dad kind of liked the Bruins, I think, or he had a Bruins sweater growing up or something like that, and that's just kind of. And I really liked the like the Jason Allison period with Byron Dafoe and all these guys. But then I also like when the Panthers came in with Ed Jovanovski and John Van Beesbrook and all that. Like, that's where I went. Van Beesbrook's helmet. No offense to yours, Gager, but like
was
one of the
iconic.
best of all
That was an
time.
amazing helmet.
Mike Richter too. I always liked Richter's helmet. I don't know why, but
'Cause he
Cujo had
kept
a
it
great
the
one.
same, and Cujo they
Cujo was
kept
amazing.
one.
Who's
Belfour was another one.
who's the goalie for? Is it the Russian Samsonov for
Ilya
Toronto?
Samsonov, yeah.
He went with Cujo's mask this year.
And you know what?
Like going into the season?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't
Great.
seen that.
yeah.
Brian Elliott
awesome.
did a full like Cujo throwback look when he had the trumpets on his helmet in St. Louis.
Really?
And I remember they rolled through Edmonton and the mask was just sitting there on the trainer's table. And I'm just taking pictures of it. I'm like, this thing is beautiful.
They don't like people. It all seems very generic now that everybody, when they get their masks, it's just it's like a line down the middle here, and then it's the two logos on the side, and that's it. Like there's no real creativity.
Some are
in
still
masks
doing the
anymore.
creativity, but I feel like a lot of the creativity comes on the back. Like it's on that back portion of the
Yeah.
head where they're starting to put little things that are personal to them.
Yeah.
And you don't have the Cujos as much anymore. and
Or
it's-
the Belfour. Whose was your favorite? I had to
Cujo.
go.
Well, it was
I
hard.
was
Cujo
Cujo.
growing up as an
Yeah.
Oilers fan, like that
Yeah.
was always going to be a top one. I was like Felix Potvin too.
That was
Potvins
a good one.
Cavs was good.
But Potvins with the Bruins.
I
When he had
Just
the
the
yellow,
colors,
like the-
you know,
yeah,
but it was
yeah,
always
yeah,
the
it
same
was
mask
sweet.
and
Yeah.
he had the same pads. Like there was that consistency and it was part of their identity. And
Yeah.
I mean, like Gager, this mask, you and I were talking about it the other day when you were in. I'm like, hey, that looks like Cujo's mask when he like his first Oiler
Yeah.
mask, not when he kept the old St. Louis one, but his first Oiler one. But you had the updated colors and the your name on the bottom of the chin plate there.
Yeah, like I said, I tried to get Cujo on there, and hopefully Mac T would have thrown me in a bit more. But no, it's I always gave them, whoever was doing it, carte blanche to do whatever they wanted
Right.
to, right? Like my European my last one was a rabid dog that looks really menacing and stuff. And I actually, my first mask in junior, I had a childhood friend who's an artist, well, a friend of my parents, Catherine. She designed, like I was with the Portland Winterhawks.
Yeah.
So I wanted kind of a headdress, but not full headdress. But she, and unfortunately, from far away, it didn't pop as well. But it was just a one feather coming down. It was all black and just one really intricate done. When you looked at it up close, you were
Yeah.
like, "That it looks awesome." But it kind of lost a little bit further away. But that was a really cool mask.
Did you ever think about using like the old Cooper, like the Chris Osgood?
No, no, because I
I don't think it was safe. Like
I don't.
These-
that the reason?
these are better than
way
the
better
helmets.
because when it hit, it deflects.
Right.
And I've told this, no one believes me when besides goalies, is when you get hit in the head by someone who can shoot the puck. It smells like someone just locked up their back tires. It's burning rubber that you smell because it hits so hard and off the mask. Which is ask any goalie. Like they'll say, yeah, you smell burnt rubber.
That's
after-
interesting.
yeah.
That's like my shots every time when I hit
Oh,
a
yeah.
goalie in the head. Like, they smell burning rubber.
That's only when they're not going in the net, right?
Thank you, Matt.
That's on a
in-
bad shot.
And that's in warm up.
that's
yeah,
what-
that's
yeah,
in
that's
warm-up.
just always going for the
I
head.
No,
hate
that's
Or
when
you've
they're
got a
starting
big
goalie.
lead and you're just trying to
Yeah.
take something out of it because otherwise it's top corner every time.
That's when they're stretching off to the side.
He's actually right. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. But like the era of masks being like distinguished and people know, like you played at the height of that. Like that was a chrome cage.
Yeah.
You don't really see those
Well,
as
and-
much anymore.
And that's like hockey's also very special that they get to do something like this.
Yeah.
You don't get sport like no other sport really has where one player gets to have that creativity.
Well,
at
you'd
all
think-
times.
You think baseball, and now everyone's going to like goalie helmet, catcher's helmets. Like you'd think, like why don't they paint?
Would
theirs?
that could that distract your pitcher? I don't know.
Well,
Maybe.
I don't know if that's if you're trying to watch
Maybe,
where
I
the glove
guess.
is.
they're professionals, though. They should be able to handle that kind of thing.
But it's just like football doesn't have that. Like they have their team helmets, but everyone's wearing it.
They have it on their-
Basketball,
they have it on
the
their
thing that
cleats.
they can put on there, and there's
Yeah,
certain
but
things they
the
can put on their
shoes.
shoes.
Basketball's
and
good, but this is front and center.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The helmet is front and center with the goalies, and hockey should try to promote that a little bit more and get their
I
goalies doing
always
that and
loved it,
find a
like
way to
that's-
sell. Like those little helmets that they gave away from, I think it was McDonald's.
yeah.
Those were awesome.
they're
Yeah, they were.
sweet. Yeah,
There's probably no other position in sports where goalies can be really creative with their stuff. Like you see what they're doing with pads now and the designs that they can put on there. It's
Hillard
like,
always had some pretty sweet equipment, right? Like different cool colors, and like it wasn't super like intricate, but like what did he have like for the Ducks? He just had that matte black helmet and the gold faceplate or whatever it was. Like it was, yeah. like you said, there's so much stuff that you can do with like the pads and.
I'd like to see players do more on their skates, like because now you can put all that stuff
of
on,
that.
like the
Yeah.
colors
Yeah.
and things.
Yeah.
I think that's. I mean, I remember just Fedorov in those white Nikes. Like it was a statement, like something on there that guys can do to be separate
Like
themselves.
T-blades.
Yeah,
T-blades. Oh, Joaquin heck. Speaking of the like getting creative with the skates, I happened to meet a friend helping out at a hockey school over the summer last month. Gooby, he does Gooby Customs. He has done custom individual stylized skates for NHL players for a few years now, and people are picking up on it. He did Marner's skates at the All-Star game.
Yeah.
He's been doing Anthony Duclair's skates, and he's got a few he's working on. We might actually bring him in for a show to discuss, but guys are starting to want that now. And his skates, the way he does them, because he hand paints everything, I think there's some vinyl touches, but the way he seals it on there, the NHL, as of right now, from what he told me, the NHL only allows his skates and his custom designs, because there were other companies that were doing like vinyl wraps, and there was chips like falling on the ice. They don't last long.
Yeah.
And Gooby's got the blessing from the league, and so we'll look to have him on at some point.
You think there's a market for that with hockey players? Because like basketball players have built, well, because of Jordan, the industry of you have your shoe and you sell it.
Yeah.
Would people go and want to buy the Connor McDavid look skate, you think?
Well, Connor McDavid would want all black CCMs.
Okay, but
right, like
okay, so
he's not flashy. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, then let's go. Then the Toronto market, Mitch Marner has these cool little skates. You think there'd be a market for a lot of people wanting to go buy those, and like
think
that's
so.
an avenue for hockey players to start making some money on
You
the
buy
side?
the stick already, don't you?
You buy the flex, right?
And the curve.
Well, I'd buy
But,
that.
like,
I'd
the
buy that
image
new yellow
wise.
synergy that they. Just
I mean, if
came out
I'm
with.
the Blackhawks, like I saw those skates looking like the old Jordans, I'd have all the Blackhawks wearing those skates.
Yeah.
Right? Like that that
that'd
would
be
just
cool.
It's their colors too.
Right.
It would look. I think it would look pretty cool. But
Yeah.
I mean, Oilers skates with blue and orange on there. And having like any other sort of color on besides black, or the blades not white, it makes you look like you skate funny. Because I remember Doug Waite going to the black blades,
I
and
remember
it
that.
looked like he was way slower, but
Yeah.
he was flying, right? But I think it was a little bit deceptive sometimes when he would come down on you, because it didn't look like, even Paul Kariya, it was one of the fastest when he was wearing like black blades.
Yeah.
It was like, why does it look funny when he skates?
No reflection off the blade.
Yeah.
That little reflection.
It is, and I feel the same way about stick tape. Like, I think when you see a nice, clean tape job that's the white tape, crisp and cool, and you can snap it. It looks like it's just really sharp. And then I see black tape, and I think of guys like clunking a puck like this, like it's a brick, and
They tape over the old tape afterwards. Yeah.
that's it. That's in my mind. That's exactly what's happening, Lucas. So I don't know. Maybe it's a perception thing.
Mike Krushelnicki was my coach. Well, he was like the Reg Dunlop my first year. He was a player coach my first year pro, and he would tape his stick sometimes and take the Sharpie and paint like a puck on there too. He goes, "Does this mess up goalies, Gage?" I was like, "I'm whatever." I'm
you say
20.
that?
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing. Looks like you got 2 pucks on it.
Can't score on you.
Oh, he was great. He was just great. What
That's
a first
so
year
funny.
that was.
We should take a quick break here. We're coming up on the end of hour 1 of the EST Hangout. Joaquin Gage with us, who's going to be back with 2 guys and a goalie later today at noon, and Lucas Holt of Whale and the Wolf. Envy, the new album out last night. You can get it right now, and their show tomorrow at the Starlight Room. I'm Adam Wanakis. Tom Gazzola will be back in a few minutes right here on Edmonton Sports Talk.
2 guys and a goalie.
I think we're going to see some big things from Evander Kane this year.
You think so? Like if he stays healthy, like
yeah.
40 goals or something?
He's used to Edmonton now. He's solidified, I think, his place in the dressing room.
And the community.
I think there's a comfort factor that takes a little bit of time.
2 guys and a goalie with Gager, Cassian, and Nielsen. Tuesday and Thursdays at noon. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk. The Elks Call is the newest Edmonton Elks podcast located in Edmonton, discussing everything Elks. Join friends of EST, Scout, and Catherine Friday nights at 8 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Join Murray McCourt and Curtis Stock for tips and tales from courses around Edmonton and area with the VIP Golf Show, presented by the Tailor Made Performance Center at the Ranch, Sundays at 8:30, only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell take you on a hot lap around the NHL with Hello Hockey, Saturday mornings at 10, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler, weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop, only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Join friend of EST, Guy Flaming, for the Pipeline Show, Monday nights at 8 and Saturday at noon, as he has you covered with CHL, CJHL, USHL, NAHL, NCAA, and U Sports, plus the World Juniors, Frozen Four, and NHL Draft on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Friend of EST, Eric Thomas, takes you around the track all the way to the checkered flag on Raceline Radio, Tuesday nights at 8 and Saturday morning at 9, only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Catch up with friends of EST, Andrew, Mike, and Kayla, as they get you in the huddle with the Edmonton Elks on the Turf District. Thursday nights at 8, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. The Lock Shop.
We've been doing this for a long time. We spend all this time salivating over the season. Sometimes, if you haven't learned your lesson, you go hard betting on week one. And then we get ready to get into week 3 of the season going, what the hell were we talking about for a month leading into the season? Because everything we thought was the case was wrong. So I always tread a little lightly. And I mean, I try not to make these so definitive takes. Things can change very, very quickly, or maybe they have and we just haven't seen it yet.
The Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11, only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
She bought a car, working nights at the mall. TV taught her how to drive it. She bought a car, didn't want one too small. Bought a K car, reliant. That other boy wasn't pushy at all. She'd be the first one to tell you she wanted to try it. Put the tab on the tongue, put the lights down low, put the phone in the pocket on silent. Baby got a tattoo, snake on her hip, goes down where I haven't seen yet. Baby got a tattoo, snake on her hip, goes. I gotta admit that I'm falling in love with the thought of this not lasting. Baby so bad, made my mood ring break. The boy in the corduroy coat got caught by the cops as he was trying to buy the girls.
And return here on the EST Hangout. Matt Owanek, Tom Gazzola with here, Joaquin Gage, and Lucas Holt. That song you just heard, Midnight Riot from Whale and the Wolf, is the new album, is now out in their show for those in Edmonton. Tomorrow, Starlight Room, head to whaleandthewolf.com to get your tickets. There'll just be a few members of EST there as well. You can come hang out and watch the show with a few of us from Edmonton Sports Talk. So it's great to listen to some great live music. Who else is playing with you guys?
We have Daryl Saves Lives opening, Medical Pilot, and Andre Petitpas and the Giants from Halifax.
7 o'clock starts, doors open, I guess. So Starlight Room tomorrow. Big news coming out of the sporting world kind
Yeah.
of just now, but in
Well,
a connection to the NHL and McDavid in a sense.
Yeah, BioSteel filed for bankruptcy today, and I don't, people are like, who cares? It's a sports drink. Well, McDavid was with them. I think his deal, from what I understand, is up with them, and obviously with them filing for bankruptcy, like yikes, because the NHL just went to them as their official sports drink, and you see the water bottle and the towels and all of that, and they had some huge names in the sporting world as ambassadors.
Well, don't they have that
which cost them-
BioSteel cam? Like, isn't
They
that
had
where
BioSteel
McDavid was
cam.
with
Yeah.
Draisaitl and
Yeah.
Bedard was there? Is that the one?
Yeah,
They were
Bedard.
all there.
together?
They're all there. Yeah, it's like
it was the thing, right?
they sponsor what is that, Gary Roberts kind of thing. That's
Yeah.
all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So
That's a
where are these
big
guys
hit for
going to
the
work
NHL.
out?
I think like for an NHL, it's like the cap's coming back and everything seems to be going well. But to have a hit like this, I don't think it's going to affect the cap in a major
don't
way.
think
But you
so.
can't have, at the start of your season, all of a sudden you're looking for a pretty significant sponsor, I would say.
Well, go back to Gatorade, of course, like they always do. Remember they had Powerade for a while, and then they went to Gatorade.
Or just go to the taps, the water, like we used to do in the old rinks, and they all taste
Just
like
rink
lead. Yeah.
tap?
Yeah.
That's it.
Gosh, man,
So you get
that's-
in Edmonton, you get the Rogers Place tap water.
Yeah,
Go to
why not?
Fiji water
Ooh, that'd be good.
or Voss. Go to the good stuff. I'm just kidding.
I like the
They're expensive.
Gatorade though. That was the orange Gatorade.
Yes.
Practice. That was just.
I only have one small issue with Gatorade.
What's
Why?
that?
It was invented at the University of Florida.
Oh,
And I'm a Miami
Get over
Hurricanes
it.
fan.
Oh Jesus.
that was
big
like
rivalry.
60 years ago.
Yeah, but it's a rivalry thing. I'm a Hurricanes fan. I have a deep allegiance to the University of Miami that goes back decades.
So you only drink Powerade.
and it's
Yeah.
like
Out of
there's
spite.
yeah.
no, I
Terrible.
You
I
hate
do
all
love Tom
sport.
Petty. I do. I love all sport.
All sports great.
That was the best one. Like
Yeah.
you remember like the
sport.
punch cards you'd get in
No.
like minor hockey or something? Oh, you'd buy like a punch card and you get like 7 all sports for it or something.
They were basically soda. Remember they were carbonated? It was like
Yeah,
drinking
yeah.
pop.
It was unbelievable. It was awesome.
Well, give it out to your listeners now. Like, if anybody knows where to get some all sport,
We
let
have
us know.
looked for that for years.
One guy did. Darren, a friend of ours, he was like, "Yeah, I found some all sport at this place," but he said it was like Jello, like really thick and like.
Yeah.
I found a website and it's
gelatin.
based in like Utah or something like that.
Makes sense.
So I don't know. I miss all sports so much though. I think was it Lime?
Yeah.
Lime was the best one.
God, I remember
Easily.
when we didn't care about like personal hygiene. I remember back in the day, in my first year in the minors, walking into the training room, seeing our trainer mixing the Gatorade jug just with his arm. Like he just pulled up his sleeve and was just going like this. And I was like, and we're all like, "Is it ready yet?" I'm like, I was like, probably.
It's just that was the magic stuff.
It was, yeah.
That was the stuff that said put you over the edge and
yeah, jeez, and a dart coming out of his mouth.
Couple of
Murray
ashes falling
Stevens.
in.
Oh God, what
That's
a beauty
disgusting.
he was. He loved his NASCAR too. Oh my gosh, he would have NASCAR going in, and I remember when was it Dale Earnhardt when he passed away?
Yeah.
he was sitting in the training room crying like.
That
we
was
had a game.
huge.
Yeah,
That was an icon. I remember that. That was
Yeah.
Daytona, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
Daytona.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was trying to get him to explain to me because I was before I was a motorhead, right?
You
But,
are a motorhead.
Gear nut.
he basically compared Earnhardt to Gretzky, just the way he drove and everything. It was pretty cool. But
you haven't
Intimidator.
fallen out of love with F1. Have you this year?
no.
And you guys have like as
I've been
into it this year?
watching.
Or is this kind of dropped you? Like, I'm not saying lost interest in F1, but maybe where your interest maybe was
My
last year.
whole TV kind of watching has been kind of thrown upside down with a
having a
5-month-old. Yeah. And now with college football coming back too, like the early morning stuff. I still tape it. What I've found though is that like I like qualifying a heck of a lot better than the racing.
Quali's great.
Because you know it's gonna be Verstappen with Checo like on the podium in second or third.
And that's like I think we all kind of got a little spoiled when we all got into it when it was the Hamilton Verstappen.
It was like the greatest season in a long
like
time.
But
and,
everybody
like,
was saying that like
Yeah.
this isn't normal.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
and but like I said, we all got a little spoiled. But like I much prefer watching the back of the pack. Well, not the back of the pack, but that mid pack race anyway.
the race for like third, fourth, fifth
Yeah.
type thing.
And I'm really like I like Albon and Williams. I really wish they would take it up there, but no, like qualifying, like I'm still watching it. I don't think I'm as like I used to get up but now I'll record it and watch it a little later.
Oh, I'm up.
Yeah.
I get up on the Friday or Thursday late to.
I see the messages.
Yeah,
I'm still in that group chat.
I don't know why. I just like you guys fell in love with it when with the Drive to Survive and Max and Lewis. But like if you take Max out of the equation, it's an unbelievable season, right? If you unfortunately Max just pulls away with everything, but I find the gap is a lot smaller.
Yeah, like
now.
you were saying it on the Pals podcast, right? Like that, like they're starting to figure it out.
Yeah.
He's not going to be pulling away forever here.
And last year they did say because of the restrictions of wind tunnel time for Red Bull,
The penalty they got.
yeah, it wasn't going to affect them too much this year, but it's next year because it's tiered, right? So you finish top of the construction, you get less wind tunnel time than say, whoever's
How
at the
about
bottom.
Fernando Alonso this year?
Just unreal,
Right?
Just shows you what a great driver. Like they always talk, Fernando is racecraft, but then you can finally see it. They've fallen off a little bit, but the gap between him and Stroll is just massive.
Yeah.
He's just
Well, when your dad buys the team so you can race in the premier racing league in the world.
and Stroll's. I mean, he's probably a
yeah.
really talented guy, but
Yeah.
he's just not close to the.
He's not at that level as those other guys.
No.
And it's kind of a shame that the fact that his dad is the one there. Like you could imagine where they could be if you could bring in a driver who's actually of some better caliber than Stroll is. Like they could.
There's
they could be
20
right up
seats in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one is being given away to someone that maybe shouldn't be in F1.
Right.
Probably a great F2 driver, all that, but
Yeah.
maybe not F1. It's fine. I remember talking to you once about F1 and how you talked about how it was like you saw the similarities between being a goalie and the team drivers.
That's why I probably liked it more. Is that relationship between two goalies kind of the same as two drivers? Everyone wants to be the guy. It's a little bit different that you both compete at the same time, but you try. I think there's a component of trying to help, but also
You want to beat
Still
that
you
guy.
want-
you want to beat your partner.
Yeah.
So I just that relationship always fascinated me, how guys act, and then you see, like I think the most interesting duo is McLaren this year because Oscar Piastri should be Rookie of the Year this year. Like, what he's been doing is unbelievable, and then him and Norris touched last race. So that internal competition, I love seeing that, and even last race in Monza we saw Ferrari going at it too, like with their two guys. So I love when there's a battle between inside the teams as well as other places.
Yeah.
But it's a fascinating sport to me. All the technology behind it is crazy, and the personalities of everyone come out too. And they get so much behind the scenes stuff that you have access to that you don't get in a lot of other sports.
and I'll call it their game day. Their game day presentation when they get onto the track and they're talking to everyone, like that is second to none. Like it's awesome.
Phenomenal. They bring you in.
Yeah.
They bring you in and you
Yeah.
feel like you're right there. And I'm like, oh, that is so cool. And speaking of the personalities and the dualities of the two drivers and all of that, I find that Ferrari's guys are actually two of the best, most personable drivers. And I like to joke that these guys are just crybaby whiners. And Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, like I find that they have a good kinship. At the same time, you're like, you know what? Those two guys, they're actually likable. So I kind of root for them, even though, they've had their troubles over the last couple of years.
Oh, major troubles.
Yeah.
But I like their fire when they get on the track.
Yeah.
But it's such a, I mean, the bucket list thing is to go to one of those things and hang out on and just see everything, right? But
Text comes in and says, does Gage not have F1 TV? I'm pretty sure you do,
of
right?
course I have F1 TV. It's
Yeah, you've got a simulator too. Or do you
stupid
just go and sit in Dusty's
How
simulator?
dare you ask me that question?
Yeah, no. Again, this is the ability to have all that data in front of you during the race. Like I'll have, I got 2 screens going, or 3 screens. I got the race. I got another one that I can switch to watch a helmet cam if there's something going on that I want to watch.
That's cool.
And then I have the just the data of the breaking down the sectors, what guys are doing, what tires they're on, so I can kind of say, looks like this guy's going to be there pretty quick or whatever.
You're all in.
Has the application been sent to any teams yet?
Oh, it has to have been. Like, just imagine
yours. No, have you sent an application to any team to go work for them? You're studying all this data. Have you sent anything?
I'd
in?
love to see one of those big helmets looking up at the screen.
Was it this year or last year? I sent in the text. I said, "Oh my gosh, guys, it's come true," or whatever, and I've got the job at F1 likes what we've been doing at Pit Stop Pals, and they've asked me to come and join. And it was April Fool's, and Eric was like, "Oh, it's April Fool's." So I had him for a split second.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, Chris Westcott, who I used to work with at EdmontonOilers.com/OilersTV, he went to the Blackhawks and the Devils. He actually was interviewing with Williams to do their digital media, and he's like, I don't know if I want to do F1. I don't really like it, but the money's great. You're traveling on a charter everywhere. I'm like, hey, it's F1, dum-dum. Like, take it if they offer it to you. He did. Yeah. He didn't end up getting it, but and it was and I was like, but it's Williams, and he's like, what does that mean? I'm like, oh, just watch Drive to Survive and you'll understand. But they have new owners now. But the fact that he was potentially in that world and talking to them, I thought was outstanding.
Great for the resume.
Yeah. One text comes in at 780-218-9999 and says, you put Lance Stroll in a Red Bull car. He's top 5 every race. That's the problem with F1. Agree, disagree?
But then that's still the difference, though, between the top drivers and just an average driver, is that the top driver, like Max, is number 1. We're not talking about him being like a number 2 or number, like we're saying that's maybe top 5 you can get there. Like the car does help a lot, but just look at the difference between Max and Perez. Just the difference of those great drivers and then that next tier of drivers. Like,
really,
why isn't Perez that much closer to Max Verstappen?
And you can also argue though too, then like why was so many secondary drivers for Red Bull? Why they had so many changes prior? Like they had Gasly too, and he didn't. Like, so the car doesn't make everything, right? You still gotta. If
you were a top driver, like you'd be those Mercedes years where Lewis was challenged by his teammates year in and year out, and some of them won and stuff. So. To say that, like, to not say that Lance Stroll would be an immediate top 2 challenging Max, I think also then that shows that he's not as good of a driver as some of those other
I don't
guys.
think you put Sargent in there. He's all of a sudden number 2. Like, come on.
No. But in that car, he's probably still going to be top 10, top 8 type thing, because the car is going to always be a little bit, but we're not going to sit here and say, top 2.
But that's another thing that I get into too, is the development of the cars and what they've like. That's why they have the constructors championship, right? It's not about it is about the best driver, but it's also about the development of the cars and how much you can gain tenths here and there with all the little adjustments that they have.
They're building a new car every year.
Every year, like
every year they're building a brand new car and have to beat everyone else who were trying to do the exact same thing.
They said at AlphaTauri, though, that they are going to use this year's Red Bull car for next year. And I don't know, like, there's got to be some changes. You can't do exactly, but that's
who is
AlphaTauri's the junior team.
It's around.
You're thinking Alfa Romeo. Yeah, they're the junior, and that was because Haas, I think last year, people accused them that they took the Ferrari car. And that's how Haas took a jump up last year.
Yeah.
Is that they were using the Ferrari because they say it shared like the same building or something like that.
Didn't what is now Aston Martin? What were they before when they had the pink and white color?
Racing Point.
Yeah, when Racing Point took Mercedes car, right?
Yeah,
a
they
few
took
years ago,
Mercedes. Yeah.
People were like, geez, that car looks familiar, and they went after them. And
it's funny because I tried to put the side by side. I can't tell the difference.
With Joaquin Gage and Lucas Holt, Laurie on the YouTube chat, he does say that the car gets you to top 10, the driver takes you to top 3. Which is probably a good way to look at that.
Yep.
Another text comes in. F1 multi-viewer is a game changer too. You can pull up all cameras or select whichever cameras you want to have that control. Like in other sports, don't we have multi-viewers in like football? And did they try that? And it's gone. I never looked at it.
Every year, like national championship game, they have like 20 different feeds on ESPN, and one of them is like it is a 4-shotter. And you can watch multiple feeds of the same game. And then there's...
Can you pick one and make it full screen?
No, then you just go to switch to the main channel. TSN, like I know the TSN website, you could add like a 4-plex, and then you go to 1 if you want later.
Okay.
I know when I was in Europe on Sky Sports for football, they had ISO cams, so you could watch just your player or who you wanted to watch and stuff. So, I mean, how great would it be to have Connor McDavid's helmet cam? You know,
That'd be amazing.
to watch what and just see what he sees in a shift. Like it would be.
Well, the NFL has the All-22 camera that comes out usually. I don't know where it is nowadays, but it comes out the week after, and you can go back and you could just watch the one player on each play and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they have the camera on each player on the field and stuff.
I think for hockey, you know, power plays, you get the behind the net up top cam on top of the glass. I think if you had it from the blue line looking up, scoreboard up, and I know here in Edmonton at Rogers Place, they have the camera that tracks underneath the scoreboard. Chicago has one too, but I think if you could find a way to get a little bit closer and have that view from the blue line up to the net, I think that would be a cool way to watch the plays develop on the broadcast.
Well, that's how
as
you
opposed to
dominate
the other side.
on the Xbox, right?
Exactly. But like just to have that view and you can see, because like when we're sitting up in the press box, we have a great view and you know something is brewing a second or two before and you're like, oh, and I always go, oh, there you go, and then it happens. Sometimes I'm wrong, most of the time I'm wrong, but you have that instinct and it kicks in. And I think on the broadcast, if you had the ability, or if the broadcast just went, they flipped the view. Yeah, from looking from the blue line up to the net, I think you would be able to appreciate and see those plays develop. That's just my
I'd
2
always
cents.
switch it. I would always, if you could go back and forth, like from the blue line in or the goalie out, like whichever you want to, how you want to watch the power play.
Yeah.
I would always look at that view because you can just, from the side you can see it, but on the far side it's like it's not as clean. You could probably see the plays developing a lot better from that view. I love taking like my friends or someone that's never been in the press box before to a Oilers game and sitting up there. They're just blown away by how you can see plays develop and this and he's doing that, and it's a completely different way to see the game.
You pick up tendencies too.
Unfortunately, I think for I don't know, but I think for sports writers, it's not great because they've been sitting up there too long, and sitting up there you see everything happen, and you lose perspective. I think it should be mandatory for sports writers to go and sit like 2 rows up for some games because you get a way more appreciation of the skill and the speed
is unreal.
of everything from an ice level compared to 10 stories up.
I love the sky cam behind the quarterback in football.
Yeah.
And they watch the play develop from like basically almost the quarterback's position. You're just seeing everyone run, and it doesn't get used too often, but I love when they pull that one out.
Is that a remnant of the original XFL? Did they bring in the
Sky Cam is XFL.
Yeah.
I think Sky Cam.
Did they also have a ref cam too?
Oh, I don't remember.
They had a couple of things that
they
kind
did.
of
They had
came
a
in.
few. Like there was a lot of stupid things XFL 1.0 did, like the no coin toss and run for the football. And the guy that breaks his shoulder in the first one. Like, that's stupid. But they had a few things.
Yeah.
But they also then copied some. Like they had the no fair catch rule.
Yeah.
The only difference that I
CFL,
think that was different in the CFL is I don't think they had the halo like the CFL.
No,
does.
they
you could
get
crush
right
the
there.
guy,
Yeah.
and it, like that part wasn't smart.
In 2001, no one cared about personal safety.
I love that.
It was about
helmet
the
cam for
crazy
the
hit.
ref. Yeah, the ref when AAHF when you see like even at the Spengler, he calls a penalty and maybe it was a bad call, but it shows what the ref saw, and you're like, geez, that did look like a penalty. It just gives you a better perspective of what they see and stuff like that.
I
too.
100% agree. What I would do away with is going and putting a hot mic on the ref before the game. I think that's the dumbest thing. All right, but then have a good game. Oh, shut up, ref.
like
Drop
airing
the
it?
puck. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
you
I
know
see
how
what
it
you're saying.
became a thing?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
I don't want to, no offense to the refs out there. God bless you. There's some great ones. Surveyor Brett, I know he's listening and watching
He's
right now.
refereeing a game with
Beardsy,
this
yeah,
week
he
or
sent the
something.
message in. I saw that, but I really do not need to hear Wes McCauley.
Yeah. Okay.
It's great when he fighting, like that's great, but like in small doses, and I don't need a ref to pump me up for a face-off. Shut up and drop the puck. I want to hear the players chirp each other. I want to hear hot mics from the players between the benches. That's the kind of thing I want to hear. I don't want to hear a ref pumping up both teams because I know that those guys feel the same way I do about the refs, and they don't give 2 iotas what this guy says before he drops the puck.
I would love though if we did more because it happens in some spots, in some leagues. I want the conversation when there's a video replay happening.
That would be amazing.
I want to hear what they're talking about. What they're
That would be
walking through.
great.
Like in the NHL, you're talking to Toronto. talk it through.
to
CFL,
Command
you're talking
Center.
to Command Center. I want to hear what they are discussing
Get
as
a
they're
camera
trying
at
to
Command
figure
Center.
that out.
I want to see who these guys
Like,
are that are making the calls.
Let's
here.
have an understanding of, as opposed to like the NHL sending out a
Addresses,
statement.
phone numbers. Put it all out there.
A statement like a couple of hours later going, this is why this call happened. Let us hear in real time. Let fans and viewers hear in real time. This is what they're thinking and what they're going through.
XFL did that last year, did
They
not?
have, I think,
Yeah.
junior hockey. I remember watching an Oil Kings Memorial Cup game where I heard the refs and they were explaining it. Like, it happens. The pro leagues now need to add this. The top leagues need to add this. It's the same as soccer with the VAR. I want to hear what you guys are discussing and ultimately then why this is the decision they're making.
Yes, and that was another thing too. That like, I know, especially like in football, and I see it in the CFL a lot too. Is where like if you do challenge a play and you're watching the replay of the two cameras they got, you know, you will think that you see it and it's like, oh man, this is going to be overturned. And then when they just come back, play stands. Well, why does it stand?
Yeah.
Was it that there were not enough video evidence? Did they not pass interference? Like, tell me the reason why it stood or why it was overturned.
Stand means not conclusive evidence to overturn it. Confirmed means the call was right. That is the one difference of that. I don't. They did in the CFL. I don't know. In the NFL,
But
they
is
do
it?
that.
Okay.
The NFL is if they say confirmed, whatever the play that they have, like that was called on the field, they say that's what happened. If it stands, they're saying we do not have conclusive evidence to overturn this. So it could be wrong, but it could be right. We don't know. So they're passing a buck basically at
The
that
devil's in the details of the language used when they make the announcement. How about
that?
this?
That
'Cause-
one you have to be careful. Confirmed and stands when you hear that. There is a difference between those two when the refs say it.
Gotcha. How about this? Because you know leagues are going to push back. The NHL is one of those leagues that pushes back, and
They hate
traditionalists-
innovation.
Right, innovation is not their friend. And so, what if they do have, as they do, they have the mics on these guys and they have the cameras on them? What if after they make a call and review it, after the command center, they review the 2-minute discussion, and if they deem it's okay to put it on, they play it like later in the game. It's like, here's why that call was made. You can listen in on the conversation, and it's at their discretion. But you hope.
See, I don't like that part
because it
I
gives
don't like
them
the discretion part because
they can cut it apart.
Right.
well, that and it's also why aren't you giving me this one? Why did you give me this one? But why aren't you giving me this one?
Yeah.
What was said? What was said in that one that we're now not
That's
hearing?
why, like,
So
every-
it's either all in or all out.
It's got to be and that's the same thing with penalties in football, right? Like NFL does it. They'll show a replay after every play. Show me every penalty. Show me the camera for every penalty, whether you have it or not, right? Like it should be with if you're gonna do it for one, you got to do it for all, and
that's
do it
fair.
in real time.
Yeah, well, I still like the idea of a ref sitting in the stands in hockey. I think.
A sky ref.
Yeah.
You buzz down if you see something,
Yeah.
or if there's a call that you see on the monitor that wasn't a call, you could be like, "Hey, overturn it,"
Yeah.
and just keep the
The
play
eye
going.
in the sky, right?
Yeah, no, I think it's.
I never understand with the CFL eye in the sky when they're involved and when they're not. Every so often, the eye in the sky makes a call, and you're like, "Oh, that's cool," and then you see a play like, "Hey, the eye should fix this," and nothing
And
happens. You go,
these are the
where's-
things, right?
What's
where
the
it's
difference?
like,
They're out
what
for
are
a
we
cigarette.
doing? Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
Can't smoke inside the stadiums anymore.
Well, actually, there was one guy during Grey Cup 18 that was part of the radio broadcast team that went to the concourse multiple times to hack a dart quickly because he couldn't get out of the stadium to hack it. So he just went onto the concourse quickly, hacked his dart, came back onto the broadcast. 2018 Grey Cup.
Ripping darts.
And it was not Dave Jameson. And that's, I just want to throw that one out there. It was not Jamo who was on that broadcast. It wasn't him.
There was on the west side of the stadium last game, the Elks. I mean, great crowd, all of that. We talked about how many people showed up. Great result, obviously, if you're an Edmonton fan. But there were two people way in the top corner seats on the southwest corner of the stadium. And I don't know, the lovely people that sit behind me, Grant and Kelly, they're like, why are those guys sitting up there? I'm like, well, they're probably smoking up.
Oh, we used to always go up to the top. Just like
It's a great view.
And we always had an issue. Like I like when I go to a football game, I like to stand. I like to yell. I like to cheer. And when I find that like if I'm down there, someone will either tell me to sit down or be quiet. So we always went up to the top so we could stand, we could yell, and we could just have fun without bothering anybody else, and for us not to be bothered too. But yeah, you could also light up there for sure, which I'm sure was done.
That's
a few
what-
Don't do that.
The
No
European,
one does that.
No,
that
no,
never
no,
never
happens.
happens.
That is
Bad,
never happened
bad,
once at
bad.
Commonwealth. Don't be the first one to do
Yeah,
it.
but
They should have a standing area only at Commonwealth for
sure.
games, right?
I know they probably
kind
like your
of do.
concourse
So-
or whatever, but
On the south side, that used to be a great spot to
Yeah.
stand and watch a game, but they put all those suites in,
Yeah.
like those, like the tables that apparently Mooner was telling me they just get sold out at the start of the year every year. Like they
pretty
all go so quick.
Yeah.
On the north side where CW's bar is, you could stand there, and I stood there for the second half of this past week's game with listener Tube Socks. It was great.
Yeah.
Like at that angle, like it goes back to the sky cam standing behind the quarterback. That angle where you're just watching the field, I guess end zone to end zone from behind. That is, it's a great way to watch
That area is a thing and always has been. And they had that bar closed underneath the scoreboard
the dumbest
for years.
thing.
It was ridiculous. And
You never
Yeah.
wanted to walk through there.
Right.
I remember being a kid and me and my dad and brother, we'd have to walk somewhere and like you didn't want to walk through CW's bar. Like you're holding the hand tightly because
it was
it
busy.
was packed
It was a
and it was
spot.
hard to get through.
Yeah.
And now it's starting to come back a little bit. Although at halftime, the beer line was completely dead for that one. People
Odd.
were standing there, but there was no one getting a beer at the time, which I found really weird.
That is strange.
when
No,
did
they're
they do
probably
that?
out getting hot dog.
From concession
Hey-o.
7.
Concession 7.
I'm coming to
Or-
see you next home game.
Bacon cheeseburger.
Or bacon
Oh.
cheeseburgers.
Those two hit the spot so well.
We got a text that comes in via the inbox 780-218-9999. It's from Matt. Matt says the NHL probably doesn't want the refs to have to admit fault.
Yep.
Like the LA Kings series OT high stick where pretty much everyone knew it had been touched.
But
Touche.
Yeah.
it's not even the refs admitting they were wrong or anything like that. Like it's also just I want to hear them explain why they thought what they thought.
Yeah.
They might have in that moment still think that maybe they didn't sit there and be like, oh, we got this wrong, but we're gonna screw the Oilers here. This is why we don't think this is gonna be
Those were
overturned.
the
Whatever.
texts on the post-game show that night.
But I want to hear that thought process as they're watching it. Like I don't need to hear the broadcasters the entire time. It's nice hearing their opinions
course,
too, but
yeah.
it'd be great as the ref and command center are discussing it. You just hear what they're thinking. So then either you could be mad about that still, or maybe you come to an understanding of it's like the ref cam you say where the advantage you sit there and go, oh yeah, I see that.
I see that.
Maybe
Okay.
as they're explaining, you go, oh, okay, actually, I do
Exactly.
get what they're saying here.
Would a presser at the end of a game with the ref?
I think baseball does
Give you-
that.
yeah.
They'll do a pool reporter if there's a big game and you got to, the one reporter goes, asks a couple questions. I think the NHL, worse, you could do that where it's,
Yeah.
hey, just walk us
through
through.
what happened here.
It doesn't have to be like these hard hitting thing. It doesn't have to be like grilled where like, why did you do that? But explain your thought process in that moment.
Yeah. What
And
did you
why
see
did
that
you
we
make
didn't
this
see?
call?
Yeah.
That's all I think people really want. And the NHL hates doing that.
And they, I believe, used to do it because I remember talking to Jim Matheson, Rob Tychkowski, Speck, and they would delegate the pool reporter to go and speak to the official. But I think, again, the NHL killed that from what I remember from those conversations. So if I'm wrong, let me know. But I believe they actually had that.
Just the supervisor of the game, like obviously
Yeah.
there's a debrief afterwards,
Yes.
right? That would be a great little thing to be able to click on after and listen to the conversation. Well, this happened, that happened. Okay, yeah. Just to get a better understanding. I think it would be just give you more access to everything else and not be so upset when Hyman should have 60 goals in the year but only gets 30 because half of them are disallowed.
That was ridiculous last year. That might have been worse than the year Ryan Smith had about, 10 goals called off as well?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that the year with the crease rule, though?
Yeah, I remember toe in the crease.
Toe in the crease. What a dumb rule that was.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, Brett Hawke win the Stanley Cup. Being completely in the crease.
Completely in the crease.
Lucas Holt from Whale and the Wolf. Album out now. Envy. Joaquin Gage will be with two guys and a goalie later today. Lucas has got his Huskies shoes on. Who do you guys got this week?
Michigan State.
That's right. You said that. You at college? Have you ever gone to college football?
No.
Have you ever gone to a game?
No, I've never went. Always wanted to, but no. I'm not. Oh, the one year I had played with another goalie. He was big into gambling back then. And he was into college football, and I kind of got into it that year a little bit. But I actually started watching that Swamp Kings.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's a good show.
good, yeah.
So maybe Maybe I'll get into
be a
it
Gator?
little bit. Yeah, maybe. My daughter wants to go there for school. I told her no.
U of F?
Yeah.
Why? Just so
Oh, no,
want
you
her
never
for-
said
Way to
Miami,
crush her
I think.
dreams.
Yeah, the U.
Is it?
That's his boys.
I can't remember which one, but she had. Well, she
Big
went
win this
down
week,
to Orlando for a dance thing,
Or
and
last
she said, "I want to move to Miami," and I was like, "Wow."
It is Miami. That'd be a great place to live, I would have to say.
You're
not a Pitbull?
I'm not
I
a
think
big
it's-
Miami fan. Like Fort Lauderdale, Miami Beach, those are cool. But if you're like in Sunrise, where the arena is, I'm like,
Yeah, but for school.
oh, that'd be awesome.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
That would be amazing.
Even whether going to U of
Gainesville.
F or U of M or all
I
that.
don't know. I've never been, Lucas.
Okay.
Gainesville looks like it would be a fun
Sorry.
time.
Don't be sorry. Be Lucas.
Have you gone into college football ever?
I've gone to 2 games. I have been. Oh no, 3 actually. I have been to.
Well, you went
Oh,
to the
pardon me.
national championship game with Alabama in it, and
No,
Bob
I didn't
Stauffer
go.
did-
No,
oh, you didn't go to that
I've
one?
only been to 2.
Okay, because
I-
Bob Stauffer didn't want to go, and he had to be.
we forced him to
he's
go.
a Bama
It
fan.
was
and he
ridiculous.
wasn't going to go.
And he finally went. He had a great time.
National champion.
I went
Yeah.
to UNLV versus BYU at Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas.
Wow.
It's a 30,000 seat stadium, former home of the Las Vegas Posse. And there
hate
was maybe
BYU.
there was like 15, 16,000 fans. And I think 10,000 of them were BYU fans that came in from Utah. We were on a stag. There was like 17 of us. And the brother of the groom bought our ticket block, and he bought them in the BYU section. We had all bought Running Rebels gear. We're drinking, and of course, BYU, huge Mormon population in Utah, and they tolerated us. But I'm like, wow, the beer lines are really short on this side of the stadium. And my buddy's like, that's because this is the BYU section, and I didn't know. About the Mormon religion, and I was like, "Oh, this is great!"
Yeah.
And they were actually very good with us because we were a bunch of drunk idiots on a stag. And then the other one I went to was it was OU versus Notre Dame when both of them were in the top 10, and Monte Teo, that whole Monte Teo thing was like right in the middle of it, and
In Oklahoma or
in Oklahoma, and that was
Oh.
86,000 at the stadium.
That's the catfish
Nice.
thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
yeah,
and Notre Dame won that game, and I remember I was like, oh my, this Monte Teo thing, it was just starting to get weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was awesome. That was a great experience. That stadium was dry, but the tailgate was not.
Yeah.
I met Barry Switzer that day. They were like, y'all want to meet the coach? Come and shake the coach's hand. And I'm like,
Really?
what? And then he had they were doing a documentary on him. I'm like, which coach? And I was like, hey, Barry Switzer. And he's like, hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And I was like, hey, coach. All right. I don't know if it made the doc, but like people had like full living rooms set up under
Yeah.
a couple of tents.
Yes.
It was incredible.
Oh, I remember
It
going
really
to a
was.
USC UCLA game at Coliseum, and you walk the tailgate, and you're just seeing a bunch of kids. You're like, you're not making this game.
No.
Like, you are
No
not
chance.
getting to this game at all.
Yeah.
We're still 2 hours from kickoff. No chance are you getting into that stadium right now.
we
Like,
went to
you're done.
USC UW in Washington, and they have a beautiful, like they do sailgating, right? Because they're just on Lake Washington right there, so everyone comes up with their big yachts and everything like that. But yeah, like you said, I remember there's a couple of girls who like they were going to go to the washroom, and she fell, and she went all the way down. And if they didn't have this little blocker, she was going right into the lake. Like, she went down hard.
Yeah, that's the inexperience you have when the drinking age is 21, and
Yeah.
they try to get out there, try to have a lot of fun, and it just, it's not going to go well. But college football isn't.
It's the best. But same thing, dry, right? Once
Yep.
you go into the stadium, it's dry. You can go out and
Well,
grab
but
a
it's
beer
starting
and
to
then come
add.
back.
They are starting to bring it into the stadiums now because universities probably are all sitting there going, "There's a lot of money that we're missing
But
out
so
here." And
much
like,
money.
I'll tell you one thing that I really loved about it was that, like, and again, I talked about going up to the nosebleed so I could stand, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, my wife and I had the tickets and we were in the end zone, and like, there wasn't even a question. You stood. Everyone stood. There was no. I went to Labor Day last year in Saskatchewan, and
this
I
is
almost
great.
I almost got kicked out because we were standing and we were obstructing Bomber fans' view.
Oh.
In our stadium, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So here we are in Washington, and everyone's standing up, and there's this little kid. He must have been about 3 or 4 years old. I don't know. And you would think, like, if this was any CFL game, you get the tap on the shoulder, can you sit down, or please move, or you're being too loud. All that the dad did was just go. And now there's the clear sight line for him to see. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such
Moved
a
him over.
different thing. You watch like I remember I was watching the first KC game here of the year, and here are like two 70-year-old women in the front just screaming, standing. It's like it's such a different beast, and I just don't understand why we have it here, where you just sit on your hands.
Yeah.
Be quiet. Until
Please
it's time.
get out of the way. Yeah.
Until it's 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Then
Let's go. Luke,
just
there
drives
was
me.
ladies behind us at that OU game, and they had season tickets going back. I think it was like 60 or 70 years. They were sisters. Their dad's season tickets. These ladies were, I think, in their 80s, and they were doing all the chants. They were going OU on kicks. And I was just blown away. They're like, this is our religion. This is our tradition.
Yeah.
And they were right into it. And they were little old grannies that this was their thing. And I was just blown away by it. I'm like, that is how you could tell, like, the passion and the love and the commitment to the
more
the
than just
football
a
team
sport.
and the school. Yeah.
It's a shame. One of the best. I went to a Celtic Rangers game in Scotland.
Nice.
And in Celtic,
that's a big one.
But in Celtic Stadium, it's the flip-up seats, right? You know so when Henrik Larsson was the big Swedish striker there at the time, and every time Celtic got the ball and looked like they were threatening, everyone would stand up, and all you would hear is all these seats go. It was so like you get goosebumps every time because everyone would just jump up and start standing up, and like I miss that European kind of fandom at sporting events, and I wish it translated more over here, especially with hockey games and stuff like that. Because, man, as a player being immersed in it, it's really cool. Like if half the games that I played, if we were sitting here, we wouldn't be able to hear each other, right? Because the fans would be yelling so loud. Like it's just crazy. Cool, and I think it's not only a better experience for the fan, but it brings the whole game,
doesn't it?
Both teams,
it makes it an event that you want to be at, and I've kind of talked to you about this a few times about like Commonwealth Stadium and stuff like that. Like, God bless the stadium and how big it is, and all the Grey Cups and everything that's gone into it. But when you're packing 20,000 people into a 60,000 seat stadium, there's just no atmosphere there. Like, do you want to go? That's what like Taylor Field in Regina was so awesome. Was that it was the old bench seating. It was
terrible.
There might
in
be
a great way.
There might be 25 actual seats in that row, but you'd have 30. You know what I mean? Like it was just, and you were loud. It was hot. It was sweaty. And there's a football game. Cool. That's. But like if you could almost bring down make it into a smaller venue for the Elks.
It sounds like potentially next year
because
we might not see the upper deck.
You get that atmosphere. Everyone gets.
We might get
into
lower
it,
bowl only.
You got a guy next to you as opposed to 40 feet away, right? Like it's. I don't know.
Well, just the design of all the new stadiums, I think the fans are getting closer to the action, and that's
the thing about Commonwealth I don't like. Is okay. I understand why there's a track. I understand all of that, but like Taylor Field, the old one, you were right at the bench.
Right there.
You were right there. So and if you look at soccer stadiums around the world, a lot of them they're right there.
Yeah.
And at Commonwealth, like your seats, you're low, but you're still really far away from the bench. And there's just a little something missing. And I know Ed Hervey wanted, when they did the renovations, can't remember which one, he wanted to slide the field to one side. Like it would have been worse for the one side, but he wanted to try to slide it over so at least one side is right there. The other discussion that was had, but it just can't be done, is lower the field and then build seats towards it.
They did
but
that
now
in
you're
other
doing
states. They've
way
done that in ballparks.
But now you're adding way too many seats at Commonwealth at that point. You'd have to completely get rid of the upper bowl to do something like that. But that's the one thing I don't like about Commonwealth is just that you're just that little bit extra away from the field.
What would be the perfect seating for the Elks going 20,000 seat?
No,
the CFL's at 25,000.
25.
I still think you could do 40,000 if you were to do a brand new stadium here. 40,000. No track around it. Like you'd take what Winnipeg and Saskatchewan have built, just a little bit bigger, and then you could get the nice big concerts in there too.
Or it has to be expandable. Where you could have the ability, if it's a 28,000 seat, you could expand to 40 for certain events, like a Grey Cup.
I've always liked the idea of having like smaller seats and making tickets getting tickets like a little more difficult. Like you need to.
What's supply and demand at that
exactly,
point, right?
And then you'll want to go because it's always packed, and if you can get tickets, then great. Like Green Bay, I don't know how many do they hold.
It's like 80,000.
They're one of the lowest.
And
they're
they
one of the
added a couple
smallest.
of decks in the one end zone.
I want to say they were 70.
Those football stadiums in Europe too. I went to a Champions League game in Schalke. They were playing Inter Milan, and the actual field is on hydraulics, and it actually goes down, goes outside, gets
just like the carts, football,
and then comes
Vegas.
back. It was crazy. Just the you're right on top of the action. Everyone's close. There was probably about, I think it was 80,000 in there, and just no one. The funniest thing is it was all dry because of all those the I think it was Italy. They were throwing flares on the field, so they went all dry. I knew this, but completely forgot and was crushing like Heinekens, non-alcoholic Heinekens. I had like 8 of them, and I think, oh my god, I feel amazing still. And then finally, one of my teammates, Gage, those are non-alcoholic. I was like, and I was so bummed. I think I sat there for the rest of the game.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Text comes in and says, look up Serbian basketball games. Great idea. Turn the upper deck into giant advertisements. LOL. Another one says, if it's lower bowl only, where am I going to go smoke up? That's from Huffy the Clown, appropriately. Another one says, I've been down to Knoxville when it has been a game day for the Volunteers, and that city gets insane for game day. That's from Matt.
Well, and like, it's the game day is something special in college football. And like, the only thing like it in Canada would maybe be the Riders, where we've done, where you see the drive from Saskatoon down is an event for some people.
If you make it an event for yourself, but it's not like a a rider, like you make it an event for yourself. But yes, totally right. Like
you get up, you start in Saskatoon, you make your way down.
The game is almost secondary. It's everything else
like
that
Grey
comes
Cup
with
week.
it. Yeah.
Dave always says that like it's the Canada's biggest kitchen party, and there's a game at the end that people like. Half the people are flying home during because they don't care anymore. Right? Like, they were there just to party.
Hungover.
Well, that's the thing. And then now it's done, and it's like, okay, well, oh yeah, by the way, we have a game tonight. Oh, really? Okay, let's watch it. But in college football, like that it's the whole, like, I don't even know how they do the night one sometimes. Like the games that are starting at 7 o'clock at night, I don't know how they get away with that because no one's starting at like 3 in the afternoon. They're starting once they wake up. So I don't know how they do with some of those.
The one text talking about Knoxville, like I think it was Norman. Yeah, because Norman is where
Oklahoma.
OU is, and Stillwater is where OSU is. But Norman, that college town was buzzing that day. Like, and we got in, I think, at about 8 or 9 o'clock, and the game was in the afternoon, early afternoon. I can't remember for sure, but we spent some time, a few hours.
Was this with the Barons?
Yeah,
like when you're
that
down
was during the lockout.
Oh, I think that was a night game. I think that was prime time.
Yeah, because we spent because college football live was on campus. College football game day was on campus. Like Herb Street and the gang, they were there, and it was. And they're like, "Did you go see the set?" And I'm like, "No, I don't really know what you're talking about. Sorry." I'm here to see these people get hammered and these college co-eds act like idiots before the football game. And I got to see that firsthand.
You get to see that at college game day, too.
Yeah.
Is there going to be tailgating for the Heritage Classic here? Is that...
What time's that game? Is it at 5?
I think so. I think... It's in October. It might be warm. And I was at the one...
But it doesn't have to be warm to tailgate, right?
Yeah, no, I know. But I'm saying, like, that's where it affects the time. Like, McDavid talked about it at the press conference. The one in Winnipeg was supposed to be like a 2 o'clock start, and the sun was hitting the ice, and the lines were absorbing the sunshine. It was creating a lot of problems, and they had to delay it by like 3 hours. So that might happen here.
But I guess it comes down to
by the west side,
because it's an NHL event. Are they going to eat up all those stalls that have the tailgating right now at Commonwealth?
Maybe.
Like, where is it going to be done then?
You know what the NHL will do, or the Oilers will probably put everything at Ice District.
Yeah, and it's the corporate one is just not the same. Like when I went to USC UCLA. We took the train there, and the stadium was to the left. The tailgate was to the right. You go to the right, and it's the party. It's everything. Then you go to the stadium, and then there was the corporate tailgate that USC sold, and it was like, yeah, this isn't that fun. Mm-hmm. And you have to have it organically with people doing their own. So I hope so, because that's if it's an outdoor thing, like that's what
would be great.
Make the whole day. Like I know they want to do Ice District, but do that a few days before maybe. That day, there's something has to be done at the site. Right there, you have to be able to have a fun time.
You literally have another football field at Clark Field or what was Clark Stadium where you could do something like that. Shanked One says, guys, you always have to check out Enter Sandman before games at Virginia Tech. I think that's something we talked about.
We've mentioned that's been mentioned quite a few on the Hangout.
You know what? That's to me, that's like that. It's a sweet. You know, then Wisconsin's got the jump around, but the best one is Iowa.
Where they wave to the Children's Hospital?
Yeah.
I think it's after the first quarter.
First quarter, yeah.
The Children's Hospital overlooks the stadium.
Really?
And everyone turns around and just waves to the Children's Hospital.
It's the best. Like it's
just so awesome. And like both teams do it, all the fans do it. They just turn around and they just wave to the Children's Hospital. And the kids see it.
That's the best tradition in college football, yeah. Hands down.
I love those things when tradition just takes over and that's what they're known for.
Yeah, and it's not a dumb tradition.
No,
right.
Yeah.
Like it's actually heartfelt.
That Enter Sandman's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But again, I think that that seems like some sort of like organically done, right? It's not the tall foreheads up in the ivory tower. Like, this is what people will like.
Fun.
Yeah. And we'll clap our hands. Like what did they do? Was it for the Olympics where they like made a song? Like
did they?
For like the hockey, and it was like a chant or something. It's like oh Canada or something like that. Go or oh go Canada. Like there was something for like the 2010, and it was just like you guys are falling short.
You have to let it happen organic.
Oh yeah, was that like a Pepsi thing?
I don't know, but it was like
that. One of the
trying to make like a rap. You know,
yeah, I kind of remember. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but you're right. Like the tall foreheads, or a guy that wears a sweater around his neck and thinks he looks cool is coming up with an idea for fans.
Yeah, kids are gonna love this.
Yeah, and you're like, you're so detached from reality. Take that sweater off around your neck. You look like a dum-dum.
I loved in, I think it was the Vancouver Olympics, the curling, Canada was about to win, like they were close to winning. And the fans just started singing "Oh Canada," but really softly, like just to, "Oh Canada."
It was so polite.
It was so polite and stuff. It was just, and the guys were laughing. I think they were beating Norway, and even they were kind of laughing that they were being quiet, singing the national anthem. Like stuff like that is so cool at sporting events. It's the best.
I gotta hijack something here quickly. Just you guys won't know much about this, but we gotta talk Dunya quickly.
Oh,
fantasy football.
Like, are we getting to the heart of the Dunya?
Well, we're in the final week of the regular season.
Okay.
Sacramento Gold Miners will finish third. That is my team. Lucas Holt's San Antonio Texans will finish second. And Eric's Memphis Mad Dogs finish the regular season. They will finish number one. They will get the bye to the final. And McCord was just a mess this year. McCord was just made the worst decision. He would play a player. They would do terrible. And then somebody even great would happen on his bench. So he'd play that player and make the change. And it was just the bench always did well. Or he'd cut a player after one bad week. And then that player would go off. And we'd all just grab the player.
I lost to him like twice. Yeah.
You lost him twice.
Lord.
But how do you feel about playoffs? You beat me all 5 times this year, so we're meeting the first round of the playoffs, and then you got to go beat Eric.
Yeah,
how
you feeling? I was really hoping to get
feeling?
the first round bye, because I think
it's Winnipeg's bye first week, Elks bye second.
Right, and if Eric had to play, then Trey Ford would have been on the bench.
Well, he's going to play. No, he's going to lose Trey Ford for championship week.
No, we still have a week, right?
No, me and you will play next weekend, not this weekend.
Oh, so
Winnipeg's on a bye. He loses Trey Ford.
So it's even better.
One of us wins to go to the final.
Sweet. Who does BC got this in 2 weeks?
I can't remember who they have. I think it's Winnipeg. I think it's BC Winnipeg in week 17.
Maybe the guy with the CFL t-shirt can tell us.
This week.
Dusty, what's the...
Oh, are you talking about...
Yeah.
In the championship week?
Playoffs too quick, so I can't
even... Are you talking championship week, or are you talking
fantasy
the first
league.
week of the playoffs?
I will look... Hold on. Give me a second.
Championship week, Winnipeg takes on BC.
Okay, so next week, though, BC's got the Elks.
Yeah. That's right.
That's a home game on the 22nd.
Yes.
I'll be slinging dogs.
I'm coming to you. It's the day before my birthday, Gage. On a birthday dog.
I'm on the waiting list, but the girl likes me, so
you'll be there.
We'll see.
3-time champ. I'm a 3-time champ. Eric's never won. McCord somehow won it once, which is still unbelievable.
This is actually probably the best for either one of us that he did finish first. Now that the Elks are on a bye, he'll just have Powell to use unless he wants to.
If I get through it and I get Winnipeg for the championship, I do feel with Chad Kelly, I'm going to do pretty well. But are you feeling like 4-time champ coming?
Yeah, I think so. I think I can.
Because I'm worried. I've been worried for a few weeks because I've known I have Winnipeg on a bye and I'm done.
I've also run show all year this year. I had up until this last week, I had the most points with the least against.
But the least against just shows that like you're
and
not
if it wasn't for Eric picking up Trey Ford, I would still be a number one.
I'm so mad. I debated him or Jake Mayer.
He's starting 2 quarterbacks each week. Like You can't. You can't beat that. So no, I feel very confident in the team. But like for the last few weeks, towards the end of the season, I always seem to fall off.
That was last year. He had first for the longest time. I somehow crept in last week of the season, took first place. He loses first week of the playoffs. I win the
Having
championship.
said that, if you don't win this all, like McCord's now in the best position.
We say that every year.
Because like if he is, he's probably not watching or listening. But if he is, like next year you draft Trey Ford first overall. He probably won't. He'll draft like Danny McManus or something like that.
It's Trey Ford or it's Chad Kelly.
No, you go Trey Ford because you can put him
in the
as your
Canadian.
And then
I think right now the top 3 players drafted next year: Trey Ford, Chad Kelly, and Brady Olivier.
Yeah,
I think that's the way we're
or
looking
Dembski.
at that. We have a rivalry, Lucas and I. Like it's a big rivalry. Like we hate each other in this league.
I can't tell.
But in the end,
but
it's
he's also
not even close.
Terrible commissioner.
We know that. Yeah, that's
we're
been
the 2
established
best
a long
teams
time
in the
ago.
league. Like it's not even close. Even if Eric goes wins this year, he's good job. You got your 1.
Mm-hmm.
We're the top teams. Like it's.
I'm
It's
the top
Yankees Dodgers.
Just for those that haven't been able and couldn't see what was happening off screen while Lucas and Matthew had that discussion.
We needed the junior chat. We can't have this without a
Dusty
junior chat.
came out from the other studio, leaned on our reception desk, and just listened to these two go back and forth.
Yeah, 'cause
and
he's
goes,
trying to
"How do
see-
you take
he
a
needs
14
more
league
ideas
seriously?"
for the Cambridge
Their league
Memorial
only comes
Tournament
from
of
us.
friends and family or whatever.
Well, everything has come from us. And
Yeah.
did you hear what he said this week or last week?
That they're gonna absorb.
He would never. He never wants to join our league, and that's who he threw out
That's
there.
fine. We
Yeah.
still
He's
never
in a
gotten that
16
dinner
league.
with Dunnigan. So until we get that,
Oh, Lucas Holt, it has been a treat having you in here. Gage, you're great as always, my friend. You'll be on for 2 Guys and a Goalie in a little bit right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. A couple of texts to get to. Now, are we good with the CFL fantasy?
Yeah,
Okay.
I need it. Like we can't.
I respect
We
it.
would disrespect our league if we didn't have a quick chat right now.
I
I
get
would
it.
just say that. Like we have to have a quick chat.
It was a peek
to
behind the
figure out
curtain.
what this
It
is
was
going on.
scary.
'Cause
it's
it is-
important to keep it front of mind for the listeners.
And ultimately, like it is the best CFL fantasy football league ever. It
Totally
will always
subjective.
be, and it's just like
Yeah.
people. We're giving the people what they want.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I want to dip into the inbox really quickly. Aaron, the accountant, chimes in and says, I was at the All-Star game in Florida this year. All events were a 45-minute Uber ride away from the rink. That's why I think the Miami area, everything's a drive. Compared to the Heritage Classic in Winnipeg and Regina, where events were right at the stadium, I enjoyed those far more, even if the weather wasn't near as nice. Another one says, hey ho, Canada go, just brutal. That's from Jeffy.
That was the one, yeah.
That's what you were alluding to, Lucas. Yeah, AO, Canada go, hey ho, Canada go.
Yeah.
Another text comes in, and then this one says, I've got 5 large for my bet on the Mad Dogs. That's from Box Pounder.
Eric got unlucky last year. Actually, all you guys got in the end got a little unlucky. Eric had a great team going. He had Nathan Rourke and Trey Ford. Like he had it going, and then Rourke got hurt, and then you went down because you had James Butler
and Whitehead,
and McCord went down because he had a Dominic Rhymes and someone else, Brian Burnham, and I was the only one that didn't have a Lion. And my team, I just took off from there. And you guys all came down to earth. But Eric, there's always something that gets in Eric's way. He looks so good for a while, and then all of a sudden he just can't finish it off.
Himself.
It's
really too bad. It's a shame, eh?
It's still just no offense, Eric, but there's kind of a part of me that wants him not to win.
I love having a 4-team league that with one person who hasn't won.
Well, and that not being McCord.
Yeah.
And it not being McCord because you know that bothers Eric so much.
Isn't that like Taco from the league?
Yeah.
He never won.
No, he won.
Oh, he did. He finally won, right?
He won one, but it's like he auto drafted and then like just set a line, just like in F1, like what I've been. I hope I win.
So Taco, did he have his own show? Did they?
John LeJoie?
Yeah, well, because I saw something.
Because that's the guy who plays Taco.
He
He's a
sings
Canadian
the song,
comedian.
the birthday song, right? Yeah, there was I thought I saw something online that said he had a spin-off show where he just went into an apartment, and I guess the guy that was there, I think he died, but he was a psychologist or psychiatrist, and he just took over the role of being a psychiatrist, and people came in, and he was the new doctor. I don't know. Maybe I dreamt that, but it looked hilarious. I guess it never came up.
If you dreamt it,
yeah, that's a great idea.
CBC,
Wow.
CTV, like
too bad there's a writer's strike.
You're coming up 2 Guys and a Goalie. at noon, and you're kind of going to be a regular on Thursdays here on the Hangout.
Yeah, I'm
Mostly?
gonna try. It's I have a teenage daughter at home that never listens to me, and so today was a bit of a struggle to get her out because she switched schools. I got to get through traffic, so I'll iron
We're
it
always
out.
good
Does she listen
You
to
can
you?
always
Yeah.
come in late. We're
Yeah.
always good with
Does
that.
she listen
Yeah,
to you on here?
No. But as I had it on, then to make her feel bad this morning because I had it on, and I think I think you said, and coming up on the is Joaquin Gage soon in the Hangout, and she goes, "Oh, you're on," and I was like, "Maybe." She was like, "Oh."
What we'll do is every Thursday we'll make sure we really plug it.
Okay.
Gager's coming up today. I'll
If
say
his
like
daughter
every
lets
couple
him.
minutes, and then
Text me, and then I'll turn it up so I'll make her. If Gage can get here on time with getting his daughter to school,
We
she'll
understand the struggles that he goes through, Sophie.
Guilt.
I guess it's pretty funny too, because I guess her PE teachers figured out who her dad is, and he kind of gives it to her in PE. It's the first year, and if she messes up, he goes, "Well, your dad would probably do better," which he wouldn't have, but I like that anyway.
Well and the Wolf show tomorrow. Starlight Room, wellandwolf.com. New album, Envy. Anything else you want to say with the band?
Yeah, just come out to the show tomorrow, stream the album, listen to it lots. It helps us out, gets us on playlists, and it really can push things forward for us. So yeah, listen a lot on Spotify, Apple Music.
Because more listens gets you into different playlists, and then
Which that now is like that's basically our album sales, right?
so
if you wanna think of it
getting
like that.
played on radio is now being replaced to getting into a playlist on Spotify.
Yeah,
in
but
a sense.
the higher numbers on your streams don't hurt for radio, right? So whatever you can do to help out, stream the album as much as you can, and hopefully we'll see you out tomorrow night, or if you're somewhere else in one of the other towns or cities that we'll be at over the next month or so.
Starlight Room, 7 o'clock tomorrow. Gentlemen, thanks for popping by.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have you back.
Yeah,
again,
I'd like to come
Lucas,
back
and
if
that'd
you
be
have me. That'd be a lot of fun.
You still got some time off before you're back at work, and Gager was great having you.
Can I ask Lucas one thing? Will you sign my CD?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I had to pay for get mine.
Yeah.
I
had
bought
to
the
pay
album
for
last
it.
night too.
I paid for a special signing with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. We do.
Yeah.
I know a
pretty
guy
good.
or two on that.
We got you.
Damn right.
That roster.
Coming up next, it is the Lock Shop with Huss and Nielsen, and then it is Two Guys and a Goalie. I think Cass might be in studio as well. There's
excellent.
a potential.
Yeah,
so
there's a potential.
that's all coming up here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com as well as the YouTube channel Lock Shop. Up next, thanks for tuning in.